At least he has this growing eye collection.
He has his growing eye collection, and, I think we're all one and done.
I think my favorite part, one of my favorite parts in this book is that there is a scene where Tobias takes an eye, as there is in every book so far.
All the good books have a Tobias eye taking.
But in this one, like, she mixed up the language a little bit of him taking an eye because I realized, like, oh, she's having to come up with new, like, methods of describing taking an eye. Because before it was just like he swooped in and snatched an eye. This one, it was like, here, I could find
this
it.
gentleman will be wearing an eye patch for the rest of his life. Yeah,
right, yeah.
I do recall that.
Like, makes me wonder, like, moving forward, is just there going to be, like, more flowery language? It's like, oh, he swooped in and then his stereo vision was gone.
They can't tell you their names. They can't tell you where they live, but in the mid to late 90s, these 5 teenagers can turn into animals to fight an invading army of evil brain slugs. 5 dumb teens are the only thing standing in the way of complete annihilation. This is Animorphing Time with Nate and Tyler.
Get your hand off my girlfriend, you Yeerk-brained bastard!
This is for Daddy. Make it like half the bottle.
Catherine Alice Applegate wouldn't want this. Doesn't want this. Blah, 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 blah.
And, like, they're like, no, stop shooting at children.
Oh, man, being 12 was weird.
And with that, welcome to Animorphing Time with Nate and Tyler.
Yeah, I'm Nate.
And I'm Tyler.
And I have a secret.
Oh.
Let me tell you about my secret.
Okay, let's talk about Nate's secret.
Okay. This book is really good. That's my secret. Oh, also, I'm hiding a bunch of skunks in the wood. Don't tell anybody about my secret.
Don't tell anyone about the secret. You want to know my secret?
Yeah, let's hear your secret.
So this is my secret. Okay. And
I promise not to tell anybody.
I genuinely hesitate to actually say this out loud, but I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Chances are not many people listen to this, but...
Okay, here comes the secret.
So I have learned... God, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this because of my job,
That's all right. It's fine. I won't report this to HIPAA.
All right. So I've found that if you visualize what you want in the universe, you put that out there, the universe will give it back to you. Can you believe that shit?
I edit.
Take that out. Take it out. Take it out. Take it all out. Oh, God.
So you told me the secret of your famous strawberry shortcake.
Yes.
That was great.
It was very good. The secret is sugar.
Well, in this book, The Secret, Animorphs number 9.
Yeah, Animorphs number 9, a Cassie book where she's a young African-American woman sitting cross-legged style, slowly morphing into a wolf on the cover.
Is she angry on this cover? She doesn't look happy on the front of this cover. She's sitting cross-legged, staring into your soul.
I would say she looks very blank-faced. It's just there's nothing there, no feelings, no emotion.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is very much a I'm dead inside face.
Yeah, and honestly, that really resonates with me.
Yeah. Well, it also fits the wolf a little bit. So she's transitioning into a wolf.
Yes, she's turning into a wolf. It's fine. The tagline is no place to run, no place to hide.
Yeah, and the inside cover isn't as interesting as some of the other books.
No, it's just a wolf standing on the precipice of a cliff in front of a full moon. I don't remember this happening in the book, but I don't care.
Here's the thing. This isn't really a wolf book at all.
No, there's like one scene of wolves.
They turn into wolves.
They turn into wolves. Oh, before we get into it, should we get to what we're drinking?
Oh, yeah. What are we drinking?
We are drinking, first off here, it's a fruited sour with cranberry and tangerine, a beer from Gratitude Brewing.
Yes.
Friends of the pod.
A real shorm of the pod.
Yes, a real shorm of the pod. Welcome, shorms. It's called The Daddy Said I Could Have Unicorns.
Great.
It's, honestly, I don't care for sours.
No, but
I like their sours.
Yeah, and on this pod, we care for daddies.
This is a pro-daddy podcast hosted by 2 daddies. We don't have children, but...
No,
we're daddies.
Fur babies.
Don't. Oh, splattered all over me. I hope you enjoyed that, listeners, because that got me.
Yeah.
You hear that?
No, it's real fizzy. Pour me some of that fruited.
Oh, God. I'm getting all the head.
Yeah, don't.
It's dripping on me.
And make sure it doesn't drip on the carpet.
I've poured a beer before. No, I'm dripping it on myself.
Okay, good.
I'm thinking of you and your place.
It's a big can, so be careful.
Oh, big boy. Give me that cup.
And don't do what you did to your cup.
Look, I have skills in other areas, like being attractive, thoughtful,
Having a tiny zipper in your hat.
having a tiny zipper in my hat, coming around to the sound equipment.
What's in that hat zipper that you have?
Oh, drugs.
Oh, you hear the story about that pigeon carrying drugs?
Yeah, the ecstasy pigeon. Oh, my first thought was Animorphs.
Yeah.
Like, they gotta get Tobias a little backpack full of drugs.
I was thinking, like, what if Tobias found that pigeon, ate him, and then, like, had a party time in the forest?
It's like, I found these tablets. I think it might be Yeerks medicine.
Oh, okay. So before we actually get into the book,
Uh-huh.
can I talk about the engine oil stuff?
Yes.
Axe is chugging engine oil.
Yeah, he just saw Quantum of Solace, like me. Because the bad
Nobody
guy,
remembers Quantum of Solace.
the bad guy drank oil at the end. They found his stomach full of oil.
Yeah, black blood of the earth, some call it.
Yeah.
That's not water.
Black blood of the earth.
What you mean, oil?
I mean black blood of the earth.
You shall come out no more.
That's what they should have done to the skunks when they were trying to get out. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, this is a skunk book.
What do we think
Isn't
of this
it-
beer?
Oh, that's actually really good.
For a sour, right?
Yeah, like
I
most-
usually hate sours. This is so, like,
Most sours you have to
Tempered
like
and nice.
cut with some food, like take a little sip of the sour, wakes you up, and then you like bite into that za.
smooth. It's the color of I would describe this as someone who is dehydrated and has a UTI and the beginning of rhabdomyolysis. That's what their piss would look like, is this beer.
Yeah.
But this tastes better than that piss, I imagine.
Taking little nips of piss.
Call me old Mr. Piss Nipper.
You let that emotion out.
I'm out. It's out.
That sad emotion is sigh it out.
Should we get into this fucking book?
Oh man, like I really like this book. It's not about wolves.
No.
Just get that right. It's about skunks. It's a skunk book.
So this is the best book about skunks and the death of childhood I think has ever been written. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Because that's what this book is about.
No,
the
like,
death of innocence.
I would say not death of childhood though. I think it's
death of I would say death of innocence.
it's an acceptance of death. This is a book about death,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like it's about death and responsibility.
To quote my favorite band, Murder by Death,
Yes.
it's a hard world for all the lost girls.
Yeah,
That's what this book proves.
that's right. It's hard out there to be a skunk.
They did not write that. That is not a Murder by Death song. Get their name out your mouth.
What?
It's fine. Don't worry about it. Let's move on. Skunk book. Animorphs number 9. Skunk book.
Yeah. This one's dedicated to Alexander and Max Leach, which is a great name.
Max Leach.
Has 2 X's in it.
Ooh.
So-
He's a 2X max.
Not 3X, so we don't get a little.
This is not that type of podcast.
No, it is
It
not.
will be if you subscribe to our Patreon.
what?
We're going to make porn content for all the
This
horny
is already
listeners.
explicit. There's no way. Like we talk about coming and shitting all the time.
Yeah, we do.
There's no way to censor this podcast.
There's no way, and we will never. It'll always be too long. It'll always be too dirty. We'll always get drunk by the end of it. We will always hate Harry Potter. That's the Animorph Time podcast guarantee.
guarantee number 1.
Guarantee number 1. We will always talk too long.
Guarantee number 2. We will always talk about coming.
Guarantee number 3. We will always hate Harry Potter.
Guarantee number 4. Jake is fucking abusive.
Oh, big time abusive in this. He's bad. He's so bad.
Like we normally rag on Jake in these books because he's a dumb smooth brain.
Just, he's an idiot. He's
Right. But like in this one, he's actually like he's malicious and abusive.
He's
and,
flat out
and is
abusive.
actually a bad person. I
Just-
was impressed.
Yeah, it was an I wouldn't say it wasn't good, but it was character development.
Well, here's the thing. I was ragging on Cassie before in previous episodes because I thought she was being too much of a coward, and generally being a bit selfish in her emotions. But this time I actually get it now because she is in an abusive relationship.
She is.
And like, you know what? That's not on you, Cassie. This
No.
is this is on Jake.
That's on Jake. So,
but we'll get to that.
we'll get to that. The book, the cold open starts with Rachel and Cassie in their little science lab. Cassie's failing some science
Wait,
class.
a school science. They don't have their science lab.
They're in some fucking lab.
Yeah.
some science lab at school because Cassie started to fail, and she's like, "Oh, I need to get extra credit, but my rat can't figure out how to get through my rat maze."
That's not how she talks.
How does she talk? Okay, you do a Cassie voice. Let's hear it.
Hello.
Hello, I am Cassie.
That's Axe. That's the Axe voice.
Oh, that is the Axe voice.
He really is the JCVD of the group.
The best? No, it's Tobias.
I think Axe could do a splits between two.
Oh, the 4 legs between the 2 semis.
He could do that.
Dope.
He can do that with his eyes. Anyways,
so they're trying to figure out why their rat can't get through the maze. So Cassie has the great idea. Oh, let's just morph into rats and figure it out. And Rachel's like, okay. Well, she's more like, Jake said we can't do this.
Yeah, which is shitty. Like they're always like in every single one of these books. Like, well, Jake says we shouldn't do this.
Right.
Like, why do they care? Why care?
Why care?
Like,
Who care? Not me.
This isn't like Animorph business. This is their life.
Right.
You know,
this is their life. They
they're
have
free-
these powers.
Right. They're free to make the decisions. They don't. Neither of them are gonna narc on each other. So
No.
just fucking do it.
And they don't narc on each other. I fucking love it.
Well, why would they? Why should they?
They didn't do anything. Well,
Who's the only Axe would squeal to Jake, and even then, it's
he's a squealer.
even then he didn't that one time, the last book.
That's true.
So yeah,
Because he and his Shorm are like, they're best friends.
So even if there's like we're in a situation, let's say you and I are in a situation where we're part of a larger group, and there's a leader.
Who's our leader?
Oh, I don't know.
Pick a friend that we both know. They'll be our leader. Name them. Don't take their name out.
Rudy.
Rudy? I asked you to pick a real person we know. You picked someone we definitely don't know.
You don't know Rudy?
I don't know. I've never met a Rudy in my entire life.
I can name two.
Yeah,
Giuliani.
You've seen from the TV.
The movie. Rudy.
Hi, I'm Rudy the movie.
Yeah.
We don't know any. I was saying like
Sean Astin.
I was saying pick like Mike or something. Or Ian Noland, who I read Animorphs with.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You think he would like be our leader?
Ain't leading me nowhere.
But here's what I'm trying to get
Okay,
to.
get to your point.
Let me just get to the point.
Got it.
Is that like outside of group activities, are you gonna report back to that person? Hell no.
No.
Like why? Anyways,
Yeah.
so they have the conversation.
They go
of,
on
like-
they do some business.
And by the way, rich school too. They have a rat assignment.
Yeah, they have a rat assignment.
where they have to like train a rat through a maze.
I'm trying to think of any assignments we had similar to that in our high school, and the closest thing would be we'd have to kill rats that have infested the school.
Did you dissect anything in science class?
Not until I started going to college for nursing.
Yeah, like
but
that
I
wasn't-
never
that
did it in
wasn't a
high
thing.
school. I thought we did do something in high school.
They offered it up for AP classes.
We did frogs, didn't we?
No, I never dissected a frog.
I can't remember when I did frogs.
No, it was only in the advanced placement biology classes.
Yeah, I
AKA if you're rich enough to have your parents complain.
No, I definitely dissected the frog in anatomy and physiology.
Yeah. But like, so what I'm gathering though is that this location is fairly well off. Mm-hmm. Right. Like they have a science lab with like a rat assignment.
Yep.
Anyways, so Cassie's failing in school,
Yeah.
so she wants to get an A in this class. So
they're gonna figure out the maze.
So they're gonna because oh, let's become rats.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking like become rats and then fool the teacher.
That was my thought too. It's like that's how you do it.
Yeah, just like have Rachel go off like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. Cassie lead the assignment, and then she'll come back as a rat and sneak her in there.
But no, it was something stupider. So I mean, this is just a typical Animorphs cold open where they explain who they are. They can't tell you who they are really. There's aliens here. And then they graphically morph into an animal. It always happens in the first chapter. Just to get that out of the way. Catherine Alice Applegate knows to get the morphin right out of the way. That's what the kids are there to read. They're going to get it ASAP.
Yeah. I mean,
right? What else happens?
it got me at first. Like when I first started reading these books, like it was always about the gross morphs, and now I'm just like, oh, okay, another morph.
Yep, here's
Like,
another morph.
Move on.
Yeah, here comes protruding mandibles. So they do their little business. They turn into rats. Some jerks show up and like, oh, let's kill the rats.
Yeah, some real assholes show up and just like, oh look, some like random, like, oh look, someone's assignment that I assume they all have the same assignment, right?
They walk in on this assignment and they're like, ew, 3 rats, because there's Rachel, there's Cassie, and then there's Courtney, the rat that they were trying to get through the maze.
Yeah, I like how you remember the name, Courtney the rat.
Innis226, that's Chapman's Yeerk. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. This is what my brain remembers.
No, and this 226 has been an ongoing character though, so I'm not that impressed.
I'll always remember Courtney.
Okay, I always remember Price Cup Polly.
That, yeah, her too.
Yeah. So
Dylan Dan Hawks.
God damn it!
Sorry,
this isn't about Dylan Dan. This is about two like real shitheads like about to like commit some rat murder.
Yeah, they corner Courtney, try to kill her with a broom. Rachel and Cassie are like, "Oh no, you didn't," as '90s girls would do.
Yeah, and they like fucking nut up and go up their leg and start biting on them.
Yes, they clit hit them real good. That's the other type of genital they could do. Or whatever. There's probably a third non-binary genital, but I don't know what it is.
Vulva violence.
That's it.
Butthole beating. Yeah, let's just move it over to the butt. Everyone's got one.
Everyone's got one. Ooh, so they crawl up this guy's leg. They start chewing on his skin, like biting him, and it's like, oh, disgusting. But they get rid of these 2 dorks. They figure out how the maze works. The guys show up. They bite them. Blah, 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 blah. It's the Animorphs cold open.
You're done with this intro.
Well, I mean, is there anything of note in it? It's just
there's a couple things to know. Like, for example,
let's hear it.
Okay, so here's why the rat was having a problem, because there was a fan right above the thing.
Yeah,
and
it could not smell the sweet gift prize at the end of the maze.
That's right. So it was just sitting there being a dumb rat in a maze. It would still want to get out. Like if I was a rat in a maze, I'd just look around a little bit.
Yeah.
The other important thing, though, the most important thing
that
is never addressed from here forward, the rat escapes, and they just like,
oh yeah, they're like, I assume Courtney is just living in the walls happily,
like,
eating garbage.
No, it's probably like dead. It probably ran into like some rat poison, ate it, and now is decaying in the walls.
And since they lost their rat, didn't they also fail their assignment now?
That too. Like, this was one of those things where, like, you know, I have a D. I need to get this grade.
Man, I can't believe she didn't think this through for fucking 8-year-olds.
They're not 8. Although they did confirm junior high.
Yes, they did. We know, confirmed, Animorphs, junior high, middle school kids.
Animorph fact.
Animorph fact number 1, they're in middle school. Animorph fact number 2, they can't tell you their names. I like these Animorph facts. These are good.
Yeah, like, it really needs a, like, big stamp sound on it.
Or the hard copy sound. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Dum dum. Is that hard copy?
Yeah, I think that's hard copy.
I didn't watch it. It was too boring. Simpsons were on. Next chapter, they cut to the group scene, as there always is.
And it's just
Cassie's
describing
barn.
everybody.
Yeah, like, hey, these are my best friends. There's Jake. I really like Jake. He's so cute. Blah, 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 blah. This is how I'm going to get through this now.
You're so done with it. You're so done with like these intros.
Well,
I'm impressed.
They're the same every book. So here we are, Cassie's barn.
Yeah.
Next day or same day. Never really sure.
Yeah.
Probably next day. I think they do say it's next day. Because
honestly, it doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter.
Because that intro didn't matter.
Because it doesn't matter.
The only thing that is established in that intro is like she's failing in school.
She's failing in school and she freed a rat. Although the rat never comes back.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Goodbye, Courtney. I will remember you.
In the arms of the angels.
Well, no, that's if you want to adopt Courtney.
I could adopt a Courtney. It's fine.
True story. Like rats are actually really good pets. They clean themselves. They're not like dirty. You know.
So I don't have to lick my rat.
No, you don't.
Excellent. I'm tired of licking my dog.
Unless you want to.
I don't.
So yeah, they're in their barn. They're talking about like, oh, Rachel's called Xena Warrior Princess.
Yeah, every single book they're like, Rachel dresses like a model, but she's really strong. She's Xena Warrior Princess, but without the leather.
And Cassie doesn't have any fashion. In fact, she's usually covered in feces.
Yeah, she's like, I'll go down my wedding aisle dressed in coveralls and mismatched socks. I'm Cassie.
But this is going to be every book moving forward.
Every single one.
It's going to have this intro. Mm-hmm. There is a really good part though where Marco and Jake are coming in and have like doing that mid-conversation cut.
Yeah, definitely real conversations that children have.
Batman could beat Spider-Man? You expect me to take that seriously? Are you insane? I thought you knew, Jake. but you're obviously an idiot. No offense. Spider-Man would annihilate Batman.
And Jake counters with 2 words. Body armor. Spider-Man's webs would not stick to Batman's body armor. Homer, stay out here, boy. You can't go in.
So, like, the kids talk like this all the time.
I mean, yeah, I remember having stupid, useless fights that would never happen, or about things that would never
Really?
happen.
Like what?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I've had this conversation in my 30s with Sean.
Spider-Man obviously would win, right? I mean...
So,
well,
here's
because,
where...
like, Batman has no fucking powers. He has nothing. He has body armor, but guess what? Spider-Man can just, like, whip around and whip in his face.
Yeah, but Batman is smarter than Spider-Man, and Batman's power is that he's got the strongest will of his species.
Oh, did you know that if Batman had enough time to prepare, he could take on anybody? Yeah, Spider-Man, like, he has the strength of a spider. Doesn't he go back in time at one point?
I mean, they all go back in time.
That's a good point.
It's
Tell me about Madam Web. Actually, I know nothing about comics.
Oh, Madam Web. We're not getting into that. We're not
like,
getting to
isn't
Spider-Man with 8 arms. We're not doing any of that.
But isn't that like the multiverse Spider-Man? She's like at the center of it.
I mean, yeah, if you're watching the cartoon series, but she's actually got a more rich story if you read the comic books. I don't want to talk about this. I don't. So,
Okay, but like
Batman would win. He wouldn't kill Spider-Man, but he would win.
Spider-Man is a scientist.
So is Batman.
Yeah, but he's
Put in the clip from Simpsons. Batman's a scientist.
Batman?
No, he's a scientist.
Batman's a scientist.
It's not Batman.
Spider-Man, for all of his ability to take hits, get back up, keep fighting,
Yeah.
he's got an innocence and naivete that Batman Bruce Wayne does not.
Yeah, but Batman has that rich brain where like he thinks that he is prepared for any situation when in reality he is not.
It's
Like what he does is he relies on everyone else around him to take care of his problems. He is Jake, by the way. I think Batman is totally Jake.
Don't you fucking do this to
Because
me.
like
Don't
well,
you dare.
Like really Batman's not a scientist. He's a guy that hires scientists.
No, he is also a scientist. He does his own science. How dare you say he's not a scientist?
I'm saying that Alfred's the one usually doing most of the work.
Don't gaslight me and Batman here.
Listen, Alfred is the one that found a ruby the size of a grapefruit. You know what Batman did? Just sat around being rich while his parents got shot.
He tossed them rubies, Master Wayne. He tossed them right away. Some men just want to watch the world burn, like Jake. No. Batman. The only thing keeping Batman alive is getting to his next fight. He lives to fight.
Yeah, and Jake lives to stunt. So like,
And
I
my
think
point is, Spider-Man lives for his family. While yes, that's strong, but in the end, that will fail him.
and not just his family. He has an ultimately like a sense of responsibility for everyone around him.
So does fucking Batman.
Yeah, because he got that rich people guilt. He's feeling guilty about exploiting the proletariat.
Oh my god.
He's just like, oh, I felt like he wants to be a benevolent ruler. He wants to be benevolent, like nobility. It's like, oh, I will take care of my vassals because I'm a good ruler. Whereas
doesn't-
like Spider-Man is fucking poor, he is scrappy, and he is a survivor.
Look,
Except that one time he died.
Look, in terms of socially conscious characters, which ones are more morally good? I will give you that Spider-Man is better. He's working class.
Yeah.
He built himself. He's not dreary. But in terms of who's going to beat who, Batman beats Spider-Man every single time.
Spider-Man
We
also-
are 34 years old. And we're doing this.
The last point I'll bring, because
God, here it comes.
I'm not going to win this conversation because
There is no win.
there's no way to win it. Is that Spider-Man has a better social group. Everyone loves Spider-Man. Like, nobody in the Justice League likes Batman. They tolerate him because he's paying the bills. He's the boss that you're afraid that will, like, take away your funding, you know?
We are going to get... If anybody listens to this, they're going to be pissed off.
Why? Because Batman's Jake. Like, he's a natural leader, that Batman. Why? Why is he a natural leader? It just kind of seems like it. No, it's because Jake comes from a wealthy family.
I'm hurting.
I don't hear defenses. I don't hear any pushback because I'm right.
Batman is not the natural leader. In the Justice League, Superman's the leader. Superman's the Jake. If anything, Batman's won the Tobias because he's got no family. and he just lives to fight. He's got nothing but the fight, like Tobias. Or if anything, in the better written Batman Justice League stories, Batman's the comedic relief because he's so dark and stupid.
I would say Tobias is Martian Manhunter.
What?
Actually, wait, no.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh, I need to breathe.
Oh, how dare you? There's an actual Martian. All right, let's move on. Obviously, we're not going to settle this today. So,
But like, the thing is, this conversation is not written like an actual conversation. Well,
No.
maybe it is.
kind of. I mean, kids are stupid. They have this conversation. She talks about them like, oh, Marco's short and funny, sarcastic. Oh, but Jake is so cute. He's handsome. He's big, and I like him.
Yeah.
I like him.
She mentions like that they're crushing, which like it gets mentioned but never really like reflected. in
Yeah,
anything.
like they hold hands.
they
I
never
guess.
go on a date.
No. I mean, the closest they had was a date was in Cassie's first book when Jake came over and shoveled shit with her.
Yeah,
And he's like, I'm not going to make decisions for you. Bye.
well, I mean, he's just being equal with all members of the group. He doesn't make any decisions.
He
for any
doesn't
of them,
make
so,
decisions. He's bad.
Um,
And the one decision he makes in this book is fucking terrible. So they're in there because Tobias and Axe have found something. So Jake has rallied the troops.
it's always Tobias that finds something.
Well, yeah, he's the best one. He's the only one doing work.
Yeah,
Because he's out there. He is the only one constantly working on fighting.
right.
Like Batman.
Tobias is not Batman.
Prove me wrong.
Just because they happen to fly. You know,
Batman doesn't fly.
he's a bat.
Do you know who we're talking about?
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking of Man Bat. That's my bad.
Better. Thank you.
If anything, Man Bat is Tobias.
He's stuck on that floor forever.
I'm not wrong.
This is the dumbest episode. This is the worst.
It's a good book. Let's give this book a do. Let's actually
Yeah.
do this book.
Okay. So Tobias says, "Hey, we found a logging company. It's got a force field around it. I smashed into it like a dumbass."
I'm picturing that scene from like Cabin in the Woods where they run into that force field,
Oh God, yes.
where he just like gets zapped and kind of gets knocked out. But like, Cassie's the most. Cassie's upset about the logging that's going on.
Yeah, she's like, they can't be logging back here. She's not wrong.
No, they do not have permits.
They
for that.
do not have permits for that. And we are a pro-permit podcast.
Yeah, like,
Wouldn't you agree? We want permits.
I would steal a tree just for the thrill of it.
Good idea for a first date. So they find this logging company with a force field around it. Mm-hmm. And Marco's like, well, it might not be Yeerks. And then everyone's like, Marco, of course it's Yeerks. There's a force field. He's like, oh, yeah. I mean,
I think Marco's going to get progressively dumber in these books as time goes on.
yeah.
He used to be smart and clever, but now he's losing it.
Right. Oh, and the one notable emotional beat that is hit in this book is that Cassie doesn't tell Jake about being a rat. Jake mentions, oh, I heard something weird about rats at school. And Cassie's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
She actively lies to Jake, which is, I think, good.
I mean, yeah, like, why tell him?
Yeah,
No
you
reason
should
to.
lie to your partners.
I mean, like, not when they're going to be a dick about it.
No, yeah, because Jake is a fucking dick. He can go off and break rules.
Yeah, he
But-
has all the right to because he's the leader.
He's the leader.
But yeah, no, like Cassie's legitimately upset about the damage that the
Yeah,
Yeerks
it's
doing
like
to the
going to
forest.
destroy the forest. There's all these animals.
Right. Which we get in Oregon. Like, the whole spotted owl thing was an Oregon thing. So
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah,
Mhm,
like so
mhm.
we have a history with logging malpractice.
We come from a very logging heavy town, and that company died when logging died.
Ha!
Fuck you, Roseburg.
Yeah, eat it, Roseburg.
Hey, Roseburg, what was it called? Lumber? Roseburg Forest?
Forest Products,
Roseburg
yeah.
Forest Products. Fuck off, Roseburg Forest Products.
Yeah. So then in the next chapter, they start kind of making a plan of like checking out.
Yeah, they're going to scout it. Jake and Rachel will fly. Marco and Cassie will turn into wolves.
Yeah, why are Marco and Cassie getting paired up here?
Because Jake knows that Cassie and Rachel did the rat thing, and he's splitting them up.
So he's being like pedantic.
Yeah,
that's right. He mentions that.
He's being passive aggressive. He's like, Rachel and Cassie will just egg each other on. And Cassie rightly says, oh, you mean like you and Marco egg each other on? And he doesn't say a fucking word.
You know why? Because he doesn't listen. He didn't say back, like he didn't give a rebuttal because it went right across that smooth brain of his. Because he's not a person that listens, really.
No, he's not.
This Jake.
No.
But yeah, so anyways, they just go along with it.
Yeah, they're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Jake will turn into a peregrine falcon. And Rachel will turn into a bald eagle.
Yeah, and Marco and Cassie get along generally.
Yeah, they do.
I think they have kind of a nice relationship because, like, you know, Marco ribs Cassie and Cassie understands what Marco is saying, really.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
You know, so it's good.
It's good. Marco doesn't have to do quite the facade that he does with other people. 'Cause
Right.
Cassie just gets people.
Because Cassie gets it. Cassie is an empathetic person and can read through the bullshit that
Right.
Marco throws out.
So Cassie and Marco turn into wolves. And they are immediately just overwhelmed with the sense of smell and hearing. They can smell everything. They smell axe. They smell prey. They can hear every bug moving.
There's a good part in the transition here when they transition into wolves.
Would you like to read it?
Yeah.
It's with Cassie's head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you read it. You got excited about it.
Let me find it. So here is what Cassie does. Since she's the best morpher, this is what she does. I had controlled the morphing so that the wolf's head appeared completely formed before anything else happened. I was a completely normal girl with just the downiest growth of fur and a massive shaggy wolf's head atop my shoulders.
So good.
She's just fucking with Marco.
She just has like a wolf head. It's
Yeah.
like strutting around.
She's like, I'm a girl with a wolf's head. Which is
Honestly, that's what I would do if I had this power. Like,
preteen with a wolf's head. A wolf's head.
like, if I had this power, I would just be like, hey, Tyler, I have a tiny rat head. Ooh.
Oh no, look at my bird claws for feet.
Check out my tentacle dick. I mean, you'd be able to turn your dick into a tentacle, and I'd have fun with it.
I would like you to have fun with my tentacle dick. Thank you. It's fine. So they turn into wolves.
Yes.
Should we get into wolf facts?
Yeah, I think that.
This is the one part in the book where they turn
Right,
into wolves.
because even though the cover has wolves, this is not a wolf book,
No,
really.
this is a skunk book.
Right, but
But-
since the cover has wolves on it, we have to do the book report on wolves.
We do what's on the cover.
Right. So tell me about these canines, these lovable little dogs. They're dogs,
No,
right?
they're the largest members of the dog family, but they are far from dogs, my friend.
So they're pretty much Homer, Jake's dog.
Homer is Jake's dog. Yeah, but he's not. No. So their scientific name is Canis lupus. So really, when J.K. Rowling named him Professor Lupin and he was a werewolf, that was good writing.
Hello, my name is Professor Wolfman.
Hi, I'm Professor Howley. It's stupid.
Who could be this wolf?
I wonder who the wolf professor is. Is it Professor Goodman? Professor Potion Face? Or Professor Wolfbite?
Listen, we know that somebody here is conspiring with Voldemort. Is it you, Professor Snivels? Wait, no, what was the actual name of, like, the first book?
I don't know. This isn't Harry. Fuck Harry Potter. We're done. So, wolves, male wolves, can be up to 40 kilograms. Wait. Females can be up to 37 kilograms.
What about that alpha wolf? How much does he weigh?
They're the biggest males, so 40 kilograms. So, do you know how long a wolf is?
Like, height? Or
No, like, so height is, basically a meter, maybe a little more.
Yeah. So if we cut him, like, hot dog style, how long is that?
How long do you think it is?
Well, I don't know, like 5 feet?
4 to 6 feet long.
That's pretty long.
They're very long boys.
Yeah.
So they have a stable population. They're not endangered.
They were endangered, right? Like, that was a...
They're not endangered. They were never really endangered. They just were taken, like they were removed from, what's that big park? Yellowstone? Yeah.
Jellystone.
They were never
Yogi Berras.
They were never endangered. They were removed from Yellowstone, and that totally fucked up the ecosystem there, which I'll get into.
Huh. All right.
So wolves can sprint up to 36 to 38 miles per hour. And they can do that for very short bursts, but they can move very quickly for a long time.
Yeah, and that's why they usually go with the wolf morph.
Yeah,
Because, like,
and they mention that in
if
this
they're
book.
transport.
They mention that in this book, actually, that wolves can run for a long time and don't get tired, which is true. They can go up to 12 miles a day. Their territories can be up to 20 to 40 miles square.
I can go 12 miles like that. It's no problem.
Okay.
I'm better than a wolf. stronger. I could beat one in a fight.
I'm taller than they are long.
Yeah, see, there you go. So, like, wolves are nothing.
So to prepare for his role in The Grey, Liam Neeson actually ate wolf jerky.
Yeah, like, to get its power?
Yeah.
Why did he eat a wolf?
It's just he ate wolf jerky. So
For
that's
fun?
Well, I mean,
Does it say why?
Vikings used to wear wolf pelts and drink their blood to carry the wolf spirit into battle.
Well, I get that. Like, that makes sense. Liam Neeson eating, like, a little bit of wolf jerky for the movie The Grey
Yeah.
doesn't really square with me.
So the crazy thing about how wolves eat is they are very voracious eaters. They can eat up to 20 pounds of meat in one sitting.
Same.
And the alpha male and the alpha female always eat first. So tell me what you know about the alpha male.
Okay, so last I heard is that the whole alpha male idea was kind of debunked.
Yeah, it's bullshit. You want to know what it is?
It's just the oldest wolf, right?
No. So the packs have the alpha male and the alpha female, and what that means is the alpha male's daddy, the alpha female's mommy, and the rest of the wolves in the pack are their children from different like years of birth.
So it's not a harem.
No, it's a family.
Yeah.
And sometimes the children will challenge the father, and if the father wins, they'll push that child out. They'll become a lone wolf and they will rarely howl, these lone wolves. Mm-hmm. They rarely take a mate, but they can take a mate. So they get exiled, and they never get any pussy.
Yeah, just like me.
Yeah, just like you. You challenged me, and I kicked you out. So
You are not my daddy.
No. I am a daddy. I may not be your daddy.
I mean, like, this is a daddy-friendly podcast, but
This is a very daddy-friendly podcast. The Grey was also called Wolf Fight by fans, despite there not being any actual wolf fighting in it.
Well, at the end, he, like, charges at the wolves,
Yeah,
right?
and there was actually a scene in the trailer.
How are we going to deal with this? We take them on, one at a time.
A whole scene of Liam Neeson fighting a wolf
Yeah?
taken out of the movie. The director took it out because the emotional climax had already happened, and adding a CG fight would have just been redundant and stupid, so he took it out.
Sounds like a good director, which...
Yeah, that's
You know,
a smart
honestly,
move.
Honestly, The Grey wasn't a bad movie. I don't know why we're not ragging on The Grey, are we?
No. So
We're ragging on Liam Neeson, which I think is...
Liam Neeson's a racist, probably imperialist, Scottish.
Yeah, he's definitely Scottish.
Roger Ebert loved The Grey.
Yeah, what did he say about The Grey?
So what he said about The Grey was, there's time for some conversation among the men in this film directed by Joe Carnahan and written by him and Ian Mackenzie Jeffers, treats them as individuals. They're not simply a group of victims. We learn the most about Ottaway, that's Liam Neeson, who was on the brink of suicide on the day before the flight. Now that his life has become precarious, he fiercely clings to it. The Grey advances with pitiless logic. There are more wolves than men. The men have weapons, the wolves have patience. The weather is punishing. I sat regarding the screen with a mounting dread. The movie had to have a happy ending, didn't it? If not happy, then at least relief in some sense. Sit through the entire credits. There's one more shot still to come. Not that you wouldn't be content without it. There's no release. Packs, wolf packs, can have up to 3 to 20 wolves, some as big as 50, some, and it's all a family.
Yeah?
The mama and the daddy, they fuck, they make babies, and then the babies are raised by every wolf in the pack.
Could a wolf crossbreed with a dog?
I mean, I imagine that's how we got huskies, but I don't know.
Yeah?
I didn't look into breeding because this isn't that podcast.
It's always that's fine. You didn't look into the breeding? This is the one thing that we cover.
So wolves' gestation period is 63 days. So 2 months. If a daddy wolf nuts and mommy wolf, you got 2 months till you got baby wolf.
That's pretty fast turnaround.
Yeah, that is. Their mating season is between April and May.
Yeah.
And the wolves are born blind and mostly deaf. Mm-hmm. So for the first month or two, they're blind and deaf. The other wolves will go and eat their kill, come back and puke up in the wolf den so the babies can eat puke.
Oh, so they baby bird
bird the wolves, yeah. Inside each of us, there are 2 wolves.
Yeah.
One is light, one is dark.
Okay. Which one's going to win?
It depends on which one you feed.
Oh, cool. So I get to pick which one? That seems right.
Yeah, whichever one you feed is the one that survives.
What if I, feed both of them?
Well, not good. So In the 1920s, government policy allowed the extermination of Yellowstone's gray wolf. They're the apex predator in Yellowstone.
Okay.
Do you know what this caused?
Increase in bears.
Kind of. So the wolf pack's main food source are larger animals like elks.
Okay.
Or large deers. So the elk population exploded, which in turn meant the vegetation was eaten down by elk. The wolves will sometimes attack and kill coyotes, or coyotes will run from wolves. Without wolves, the coyote became an apex predator, driving down populations of pronghorn antelopes, red fox, and rodents, and birds that prey on small animals. So the whole ecosystem was fucked. The carrion-eating birds couldn't eat the leftover wolf kills. Bears and eagles, their population went up and just killed each other. Everything was fucked up.
Wait.
The fish were dying because wolves
They
were gone.
killed each other? Like bears and eagles like fight each other?
No, they didn't fight each other. So
Because like the eagles would win.
I mean, yeah, they'll take the bear's eyes. But the wolf was the thing keeping everything in balance because they are that strong of a predator. They're what's called a keystone species, which means the ecosystem depends on them broadly.
Right. So the opposite end of the spectrum would be like a mosquito or something.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes are useless, by the way. I don't know if you...
Well, let's wait till we get to another book, an Animorphs book, before we decide mosquitoes are useless.
I hate you.
Wolves are fiercely loyal, and
Okay.
sometimes a wolf will sacrifice itself to save the pack.
Could I, human, like make friends with a wolf and have a cool wolf bud?
Some wolves have been accidentally fed by humans, like via the dump or garbage, and wolves will become complacent with that. So, kind of, but not really.
So I could like make like a nice obese wolf and just like roll him into my living room.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes, you could. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Is this like the thing I always contend with Cassie specifically is this a good battle morph? Is this like a good go-to like I'm gonna kill a thing morph?
yeah, I used to not think so, but now that I learned that they're 6 feet long, giant, and strong, yeah, that's a pretty good agile, fast battle morph.
But could a gorilla just rip a wolf apart? No problem.
I think a wolf would do some fucking damage on the gorilla.
Yeah, but the gorilla could just like pick him up and then like just like break him in half.
Good thing they're on the same team, huh? I'll drink to that.
I won't.
Okay.
I'm just saying like they're better like battle morphs.
Oh yeah,
pick.
it's definitely not the best one, but it's a good one.
Yeah, like we'll learn later. A better one is actually just a skunk.
The best battle morph is a skunk.
Yeah, as we'll find out in a bit. So there, Marco and Cassie are running to the secret forest base.
Yes, they're running to the forest base, having fun, smelling smells.
Right, and Rachel and Jake are in their bird forms.
Yeah, they're flying.
And they come across the forest base, and they're like, "Yep, this is here."
Yeah.
Like, why did they go there to begin with? Like, was it just to confirm? Like, do they not trust?
They were confirming and scouting. They're doing that Animorphs thing where they're like, "Oh, we're gonna check it out. We're gonna infiltrate the gathering."
It's not a bad idea.
No, like they should infiltrate. But oh boy, were the Yeerks fucking prepared?
Well, yeah, like the whole reason why they suppose why they're building this base there is to capture Tobias and Axe specifically.
They know that the Yeerks think that the Animorphs are Andalite bandits, and the Andalites have to feed in the forest and drink water.
Right. So their idea isn't bad. Like, hey, let's just wreck this forest.
Yeah, they're like, a lot of these attacks have come near this place, this forest. Let's destroy this forest. It's a pretty well thought out Yeerk plan.
Right. So if you're just going there to check it out and you just run up as like random animals,
They fucking blast your ass.
yeah, they're just gonna blast every single thing that comes their way.
They do. They start immediately blasting at Marco and Cassie.
And this happens all the time. Every time they wander up as an animal, it's like, okay, I'll sneak in quietly. Like as the cockroaches, for example. It's like, get them! They're
Yeah.
right there.
Right there, get them.
It's just like two wolves wander up. And like bandits.
Shoot those big dogs. Hey, bud. Don't shoot me with lasers.
Yeah, and they had a whole army just like trying to zap them.
Yeah, there were laser beams coming from the top of the building. They were fucking dropping nets on them.
Not a bad idea. Well, it captures Marco, right?
It does. It gets Marco.
Yeah, so they drop a big like
Cassie-
comic cartoon net on him.
Cassie dodges the net easily. Marco gets netted real good.
And like the little detail I like here is that Cassie keeps on booking it after she hears sounds behind her. Mm-hmm. Like she's just so afraid that she just keeps on running, and
Right.
then like only like when she's clear, she looks back and sees that Marco's kind of not right behind her, right? So then it doubles down on the whole idea of Cassie, like self-preservation.
Yes, very much so.
Right? Like I don't. It's a character flaw of Cassie, I think. Right?
I mean, I don't know if I'd call it a flaw. It's a trait.
Yeah, well, it's a flaw. I mean, like every single other.
I don't know, the wanting to live. I don't think that's a flaw.
Well, no, it's not about like wanting to live. It's that want to live is overpowering every single other thing, including like your comrades. That's a problem.
Oh, comrade. Is this one of them red podcasts? One of them leftist podcasts?
До свидания.
Yet. Just destroyed your momentum. It's fine.
I just love Lennon. You know, like
He's very good, yeah.
Yeah, and like you know, if you get on his bad side, he'll erase you.
You get fucking killed.
Well, yeah, I think it is a character flaw that Cassie is a coward. I wouldn't call her a coward. You know, like I think she just like it's a weakness in her that she's actively trying to combat.
She's like, her character is diametrically opposed to Rachel. Rachel's the predator of the group, the badass strong one.
Right.
She goes into the fight in fight or flight, and Cassie's flight in fight or flight.
Yeah, and as a result, like Rachel's a little bit insensitive sometimes, and Cassie is very sensitive.
Yes,
she can feel
grossly
everything.
sensitive. Yes,
right. And I think that's probably why she's the first person to kind of run away, because she feels everything. She's the field mouse of the group. She's the first to run because she feels it first.
Yeah.
You know, and like, but she does catch herself, and she's like, "Oh, I got to go back and help Marco."
Yeah, and she tries biting through the ropes. Pulling Marco up.
And it's like a strong, like metal heavy net. You know,
And
it's a space net made by aliens,
and they're getting zapped at, they're getting shot at,
and then boom, in comes Axe.
Then Axe jumps in, slashes that shit open, pulls Marco out, and they fucking book.
And the detail I like here is like, why didn't they tell Axe about this plan and include him in their fun and games?
I don't know.
Right, like he should have been there. He should have been like, "Hey, Axe, we're gonna check out the old your cut."
Yeah, it's maybe that he
they
kind of
leave him out. They leave him out.
They do.
They forget about Axe in the same way that we kind of do sometimes forget about Axe.
But Axe is so good.
He is.
He's the best.
Yeah, but like this book does kind of forget about Axe sometimes, and
it does.
It's a problem. So yeah, they run away dramatically or getting shot at.
Yeah, they run back home. They're like, "Oh shit!" They get shot at like by human guns.
Yeah.
Blam, blam, blam. Blah, blah.
They almost get murked by those human guns.
They do almost get murked. They run back to Cassie's barn, and they realize they have to destroy this building.
Yeah, that's the mission for the book.
Yeah, they know that Tobias, like the group says, Tobias and Axe live here. This is their home. We can't let the Yeerks destroy their home. And Cassie's, "Oh, please, won't someone think of all the animals as well?" I mean, that's what it is, right?
Yeah, well, but... Yeah, do you sympathize with Cassie about the whole, hey, think about the animals in the situation?
Yes and no. I think saving the animals is going to be a byproduct of saving their friends. I think the two things are intertwined. If you do one, then it will do the other as well.
So in this instance, Cassie thinks of animals first and then friends second?
Yes.
Okay.
Which she tends to do.
Yeah.
That was her reason for being in this fight, of being an Animorph, because she loves animals. She thought of a world without those animals.
Yeah.
This is true to her character.
No, yeah, totally. Well, I don't think it's like she dislikes humans, but she sees them as other animals.
Right.
On equal standing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So they're going to blow up the building.
They're going to blow up the building. Marco gives Cassie some shit about, saving the animals.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, maybe we don't need to save the animals. Maybe we need to save our friends. Maybe we'd think about what's really important here."
Either way, they decide that this thing needs to go.
Yeah, it's got to get got.
Right. So what's their plan for, getting rid of this building? The Fortress of Doom, as Marco calls it.
They're going to sneak in. They don't know how. They said they're going to pick something small, and they're going to sneak in.
It's not a bad plan. It's working. It worked for the hospital thing, right?
Yeah, it did work for the hospital. They don't really tell you how they're going to do it.
Why not just turn to flies? Just turn into a fly.
Yeah, why not? Or
fleas. Well, the force field, right?
The force field.
That's the whole idea. Is that they can't really get through the force field that easily.
So they're like, we got to think of something.
Axe mentions that that the guards are able to get back and forth through there by like little
Yeah, their magic belts.
their magic belt.
Their transponders on their belts or whatever.
Yeah. So I was thinking that they were gonna like either land on one of the soldiers going in and just kind of like sneak in that way, or steal one of their transponders.
Yeah.
They do neither.
They don't do that. They do something. Well, we'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah, but anyways, they start brainstorming what to do.
Yeah.
So we get a little slice of life with Cassie and her family.
Cassie and her dad.
Which Cassie's dad is my favorite character.
He makes the hottest chili.
He's on a level of Tobias for me, honestly.
He's a character so good he doesn't belong in this series. He's unstuck from this series.
He's the ideal dad. Again, this is a daddy podcast.
This is a pro daddy podcast with a pro daddy book.
And we have the proest dad right here.
He's
Jake describes him as the funniest man on the planet, and I agree. It's the one thing I agree with Jake on.
Yeah, that's it. So Cassie's dad asked for Cassie's help because they got to go pick up a wounded animal that's been burned.
Well, specifically, he is afraid of this animal.
He's afraid of this animal.
He won't even name this animal.
It's the animal that must not be named, so Cassie figures it out immediately that it's a skunk.
It's a Voldemort.
It's a little Voldemort. No more Harry Potter. Just no more.
Stinkums, Patronums. Yeah, no, the skunk, because I guess he got sprayed real bad by a skunk.
Yeah, he got sprayed.
You were a kid who grew up in a somewhat rural area.
Uh-huh.
You've smelt skunk.
Oh, yeah, and I actually walked up to a skunk one morning walking out of the bus stop, and it was the most scared I've ever been in my life.
Did it do anything?
It raised its tail, but it did not turn its butt to me, which is good.
Yeah.
So I just stopped, and I put my hands up, and I slowly backed away.
I was always getting a skunk smell on me, or was being around a skunk.
Because your brother smoked all the pot.
Yeah, he got that skunk weed.
He got the stickiest of icky.
Yeah, well, it was real icky. It was a skunky weed.
And your mom and dad would always come and be like, "Did another skunk get in your room, Nick?" And he's like, "Yeah."
No, like what would happen is, so my dog.
Mm-hmm.
Many dogs. I've had many dogs with
Name them. Tell us what you did to them.
Okay, well, Max got cancer and died.
Mm-hmm.
Claire got put down mysteriously.
Old.
Yeah, just age. But Claire was the one that actually got. So my dog Claire.
I remember when she got skunked.
Would get skunked all the time, and like there's kind of a nice note here when they were talking about Homer, Jake's dog. It's like, yeah, dogs don't really have that sense of danger that other animals do.
Dogs don't understand why skunks are so scary.
Right. And so my dog Claire would get sprayed all the time and would just come over and just like pet and rub on you. And then
you'd get skunked.
Well, yeah, the skunk spray is like sticky. It's a sticky smell. So like when like another animal rubs on you with like a skunk smell on it, it's on you.
Yeah.
And there's no getting rid of it. You're just living in it. The smell is overblown, though. You kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
You kind of just like, oh, this is just a weird smell now. Okay.
You know what really sucks about it?
What?
Sometimes when I'm driving home from work on like the more rural parts of the highway, sometimes I'll get that skunk smell.
It smells kind of nice.
It'll make me nostalgic. I'll be like,
yeah.
Oh, that's a little skunk.
Like
I kind of miss that.
It's the same way with like cow patties. Like I like the smell of cow shit. Like it's like reminds me of home. It's a fresh smell.
Yeah, this is relatable. We're relatable.
We're relatable.
This isn't alienating and weird. We're nice gentlemen.
Do you like a grilled cheese sandwich and macaroni and cheese?
You know that I do. So
Cassie's dad is deathly afraid of skunks.
Yeah.
He has like gallons of V8 juice just ready to go.
Yeah. And they also remark that Cassie has a natural way with animals and skunks, which she does.
Yeah.
You could probably say that the animals sense a certain gratitude in her.
She's the Temple Grandin of the group.
Yeah, she makes an animal hug machine.
Oh yeah, that's right. Temple Grandin kind of did do some.
Yeah, the like hug sex box.
Well, no, it was also like make cows more complacent when they get super murdered.
Yeah. By hugging them, hug their whole body.
Well, which reminds me is that Cassie is a vegetarian, right? Like, it's not explicitly brought up, but she mentions like, oh, I had the veggie pizza, and she doesn't.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're going for, is that she's not a meat eater. But in any case, like she she's an empath and she understands like, animal emotions as well.
Yeah,
That's why-
she sees value in every life, not just human life.
right. And so
Which is a big theme in this book that they return to a few times.
right, and that's why she gets along with skunks is that like she knows when they're afraid and knows how to approach something that is afraid.
Right.
Right.
And so they get in Cassie's dad's new truck because Marco destroyed the old truck.
Hey, we don't talk about that for some reason.
It's like, yeah, it's a throw off line. So we stole this truck and Marco wrecked it because that's all that the Megamorphs warrants, I guess. I mean, yeah, for sure.
Rip Valik. We sprayed him with a hose.
Yeah, we dropped a whale on his dumb ass.
Only good part of that book. Anyways, they pick up the dumb skunk. They go over, they snatch up that skunk.
Yeah, and they notice that it's got a perfectly circumferential burn.
Right. Almost like it was shot by some alien weapon.
Yeah, almost like there was some Tew shot right at it, which Cassie picks up on immediately. She knows that it was shot by a Dracon beam. Oh, so they take it home. Then they go, chapter 8, the next day, they're all at the mall hanging out. Cassie and Rachel are talking about clothes. They wander up to Jake and Marco, who have Axe here at the food court.
Yeah, why do they keep on doing this? Why do they keep on bringing Axe to the mall? I mean, yes, this time he is cool. Like, he's kind of gotten a handle on it.
Because he's comedy gold. And they want to remark on how hot and androgynous he is.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, hey.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, like, I'm sure Axe was just like...
I think, do you think Axe is so low-key nice with it that you'd be into him?
I'd be bi with Axe. Yeah, sure.
Because it's like, they talk about how he's like...
It's like having sex with an elf.
Somewhat
like,
masculine, but still kind of feminine. Like the perfect androgyny. So, yeah.
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 Yeah. So they're at the mall.
They're at the
Axe is
mall.
there. Axe has gotten control of his taste, which is disappointing.
But they still mention that he drank some motor oil.
Yeah. Okay. They did. The thing is, it's fine though.
There are many rules for eating. That's a choice Axe line in this book.
Yeah, but he doesn't go like hog on some like Cinnabons or.
No, he eats the pizza napkins. He licks up the grease, but they mention that he doesn't eat the plate this time.
Yeah, that joke has not gotten old for me. I would like more taste adventures.
Oh, we'll get him.
Yeah.
Who do you think turns into mosquito? You can't see it, listeners, but I'm winking at Nate. It's Axe. Axe turns into mosquito. So after Axe has not eaten the plate, Jake reveals their master plan. Their great plan.
They need to be something small.
Mm-hmm. They know that they can't just do the ant morph, because the last time they tried to do ants not in the ant colony, they got tore the fuck up.
Yeah, that was traumatic for everybody.
It was, and they're still reeling with PTSD from it. They still have dreams about it. They never want to do it again.
Because they got eaten.
They got eaten. They got ripped apart and eaten.
They got ripped apart by billions of ants.
Yes.
Which, hey, I can understand that one.
Yeah,
a little
not
bit.
so good. So Jake reveals, well, Tobias said there's termites there, so I guess we'll get those termites and be termites.
Those aren't technically ants. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Good one, Jake. And they're like, well, how the fuck are we going to termites? And Jake says, oh, ho, ho, we already have them. And he pulls out a vial with a termite in it.
Yeah, like Tobias, I guess, just like snatched one. And,
Yeah, he grabbed a chunk of wood with a termite on it because his vision's so good. They never let you forget that his vision's good.
I mean, it is very good.
It is very good. Red-tailed hawk, very good vision.
It's supervision.
So he grabs a stick with a termite on it, gives it to Axe, Jake, someone.
Somebody acquires it, and they all kind of just like assumedly acquire
They're
this
like,
termite.
okay, yeah, I guess we're gonna be termites. Here we go again.
Well, they do the research, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, termites are different from ants. They're not constantly fighting each other.
Right. They each have roles. It looks like we picked up a soldier ant, and they're like, oh yeah, soldier ants. I read about them. So yeah, they talk about how there are two different types of ants: the worker ants or termites, the worker termites and the soldier termites. And it looks like they got a soldier, so it's fine. That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, and specifically, they're concerned about the whole like, do they fight with other colonies question, and
Right.
termites don't, I guess.
Yeah. Is this going to be ants part 2?
Yeah, no, I don't understand why they didn't just pick flies again. But hey, that's just me.
Yeah, I don't know. Either.
I'm not a genius teenager.
Or like a flea hopping on a person, or
they've been fleas before.
I know.
They've been cockroaches before.
Yep.
Finding a cockroach in the forest is not a thing.
Mm-mm.
Maybe they're worried to be too big.
I don't know.
Hey, maybe it would be a boring plot point. Good point. Yeah. Maybe it would just be boring to turn into something they've done before.
So then,
So they accept the plan.
yeah, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And the chapter ends like this. I held out my own hand. It was shaking. It was shaking, and I couldn't stop it from shaking. The brightly lit mall food court suddenly seemed dark. Lord, that tiny insect scared me. Deep down inside, it truly scared me. So, I mean, this is setting the stage for darkness.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Something bad is going to happen, specifically to Cassie as a termite.
Yes.
Because she's afraid of this termite for whatever reason.
And it's really good that they're, like, foreshadowing like this. I like that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good foreshadowing in this book so far, specifically with Homer.
Oh, yeah, bringing Homer back. You had to remember who Homer was.
I love Homer. Homer's great.
Homer's good. He's no Dude the cat, but Homer's pretty good.
It's a good name for a dog.
So the next chapter, we're back at Cassie's barn. She's helping her dad clean up the barn, feed the animals. He pulls out the skunk, and he says...
I guess he just got over his fear of skunks.
Yeah.
He's just cool with
He
them
says, she'll live. I wish I could say as much for her kits. Her what? She has babies? Yeah, I'd say probably about 6, 7 weeks old. She has babies out there somewhere in the woods? My dad started applying a new bandage. Cassie, you know nature plays rough. But they're too young to survive on their own, aren't they? I can't be sure, he said, not looking at me. It occurred to me then that sometimes maybe he lied to me, too, for my own good, or because of what he thought was my own good. And damn, you dropped that on a child?
Well, I mean, I think it's like he didn't drop that as a child.
No, I'm saying the author dropping this on children, just this hint.
Yeah, parents
maybe your
lie to you.
parents are liars and they think they're better than you. Or maybe your parents try to protect you.
Yeah.
That's a pretty deep message for a kid's book.
I suppose. I mean,
And it's the first hint of that theme in this book that we're getting.
I saw it as more of a thing on Cassie. Like, I feel that Rachel's parents and Jake's parents and Marco's parents would tell them, like, hey, you know what? If you find a skunk that was pregnant, that is dead, those babies are dead now. With Cassie, I think that she's just so, like, not necessarily fragile, but she's treated in a fragile way.
And she's naive.
And, and she has a certain naivete about her.
She's innocent. She's
Right.
more innocent than the
Right,
others.
that you just don't tell her that Santa Claus isn't real. Not until like she's very ready for it. Because if you approach it in the wrong way, it causes scarring.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the way I read that. Not necessarily that she's now realizing that. Well, she is now realizing that parents lie.
When did you realize your parents lied? You don't know what mine was?
What?
And maybe I've mentioned this before. Did I talk about the Disneyland Fund on this podcast?
The Disneyland Fund? No.
So my mom and my dad had this big, like, you know, the plastic water bucket for offices for the water machine?
Yeah, that you put like pennies and stuff
Yeah,
into.
we had an empty one, and their thing was, oh, this is the Disneyland Fund, throw your change in there. So I'd very diligently throw my change in there. I'd watch my parents throw their change in there. And then every couple days or a couple weeks, the Disneyland Fund would be empty because my parents would empty it to buy drugs. And I thought, oh no, well, just need to keep filling it. One day this Disneyland Fund's going to be full, and then we're going to go to Disneyland. And for years, I filled that thing with my fucking change.
Did you go to Disneyland?
Never. I've never been to Disneyland.
Do you want to go to Disneyland?
I think as a jaded adult, the most fun I'd have is getting drunk there, but I could do that at a nicer bar. But I mean, if that's not disillusionment with your parents lying, that shit sucks.
Yeah.
It's stoking hope in children for a better world when really there's no chance at a better world.
Yeah, but like Cassie's dad has different motivations.
Yeah, I suppose.
Do you think
he's not as outwardly vindictive as, say, our parents.
Do you think that he made the wrong choice here in not telling Cassie like the truth?
I think he told the truth as best he could. He said, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Like she'll figure it out when she's ready?
Yeah, kinda.
Okay.
That kind of takes the burden off of him, which I think is kind of shitty parenting. But it also, your kid has to figure shit out by itself. Like, I had to figure out I was never going to Disneyland. I had to figure out that I was wasting money on 2 drug addict parents.
Yeah.
Into my teens, I did that.
Well, yeah, but as a teenager, that one's on you. You should know better. And that's okay. You convince some other, people to give you money for EverQuest, so it evened out.
That's true. I did get strangers to play for my online gaming. Oh, God.
But yeah, for he's not avoiding the conversation of death here, like purposely to like, protect himself from having that awkward conversation.
No, all he says is, nature plays rough.
Yeah, I think that he is purposely just kind of like letting Cassie figure it out on her own, because telling her would be way worse than having her find out.
Right.
Like unnaturally.
Right.
So
Cassie does what a naive idiot does. She acquires the skunk.
No, I think that's fine.
I mean, it's perfectly in line with what Cassie would do and who she is.
Yeah, she's gotta go find those babies.
She's gonna find the babies.
She needs to protect the babies. She's a person who very much wants and will get babies.
Right.
She will steal babies.
She's gonna go to a hospital and take those fucking babies.
She's gonna, walk out with just a couple babies, a grip of babies. So chapter 10, they
hook up.
They get their plan together, and
Yeah.
they start flying towards the secret forced base.
They've all said their separate lies to their parents about covering their own asses.
Yeah, but like it's pretty believable, I guess.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, they're doing what they have to do to
Yeah.
get their shit done.
Hey, I'm going to Tyler's house.
Yeah. I'm going to Nate's house. So they turn into owls. They start flying.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie makes a note that she hears and sees some baby skunks.
Yeah.
She hears some mewling under the
because
ground.
owls love to eat baby skunks.
She senses the owl wants to eat that skunk. She can hear them, so she makes a mental note. I'm going to come back to these little guys.
Yeah.
Axe is like, man, I love being an owl. Owls are dope.
I mean, the owls are dope.
They are dope.
Like
Owls are cool.
They have giant eyes. I think that's great.
They can see at night.
They can
have
see
fun.
at night. They're silent. Tobias has a heavy respect for owls.
Yeah, he's nicely terrified. They fly to the building.
Yeah.
They morph back. They turn into termites.
Yeah, and there's some nice gross descriptions of turning into termites.
You want to get into some of that shit?
Sure. My internal organs were radically redesigned.
Same when I'm done with fucking someone. Or they're fucking me.
Well, actually, no. This is when Cassie's turned into an owl. They're all the same. They're all the same. Like my organs melted, and my skin turned crunchy.
Damn, bitch! Your internal organs are going to be redesigned when I'm done with you.
Girl, my eyes seemed to swell and swell until they filled my entire head.
Ooh, should we read this in like a sexy voice?
Yeah, let's do the sexy voice. Here we go.
Where are we on? Chapter 10?
Yeah.
We're going to do this. We're going to read this as sensually as possible, right?
It's a very sensual experience.
Okay, go for it.
The bones all through my body were rearranging themselves. Many disappeared altogether. Others became twisted in the shape. My breastbone grew deeper. My various finger bones grew larger at first, then shorter. All this made a grinding noise that resonated through my body.
My internal organs were radically redesigned.
Ooh.
My eyes seemed to swell and swell so they filled my entire head.
Oh.
My eyes were so huge compared to my body that they practically rubbed together inside my skull.
Oh, my balls are going to fizz.
About ready, Miss Purchase. Oh, so yeah, that
Why was that erotic?
got me fucking hot.
Why was that
Because my breastbone grew deeper. My various finger bones grew longer first, then shorter. And then it's like grinding, and my eyes seemed to swell and swell till they filled my entire head. This is the most sexual. Maybe it's not sexual. Maybe we're just fucking perverts.
you could replace certain nouns in here and have this be just like an erotic fiction.
My eyes became tumescent.
Well, no, I was thinking more of...
My dick became radically redesigned.
And my balls seemed to swell and swell till they filled my entire head. See, I mean, it doesn't take a genius. Kids are not obviously going to be reading this book. It's like, yeah, it's getting me hot.
No, it's going to confuse them, for sure.
Do you think this is where vor comes from?
I don't know about vor, but maybe
There's some fetish that has come out of Animorphs.
yeah, what's it called? We dress up like animals?
Furries?
Yeah, some of that shit.
What am I going to do with this?
We're going to keep powering through. They get to the building, they turn into termites.
That's right.
And they realize there's nothing inside the termite brain.
Oh yeah, they turn to termites, and it's just like Axe says, "Oh, this is a machine."
Yeah, he's like, this is a machine we control. And Cassie, that's when Cassie drops her internet ant facts, or termite facts.
Yeah.
She talks about how these soldier termites that they are will often eat the digested cellulose of worker ants.
So what that really means is that these termites are just running around eating shit and getting instructions.
Yeah, they eat shit, get in fights, protect eggs.
That's how they learn. That's how they get their instructions. Is just by eating the dookie of the worker ants.
Yeah. So this is a pro shit eating morph.
I mean, like, here's the thing. A lot of animals eat shit. Baby koalas eat shit. They call it fecal pap.
That's what I'm going to call my shit of a father. He's my fecal pap. Oh, sorry.
Don't take me to Disneyland.
I spit at you.
No, it's fine.
Fecal pap.
Yeah, you didn't know it's called fecal pap?
No, that's new to me.
But, like, a lot of animals eat shit.
Okay.
It's not a new thing.
No.
It's been around for centuries.
You don't have to convince me. I believe you. So yeah, these termites,
They're running around and eating shit. And so Cassie just like drops this and moves on with her life.
Yeah.
We, the reader, know that this is going to come up again. I was not expecting them. So, spoilers, they eat shit later.
They immediately start eating shit.
We're not there yet.
I mean, pretty close.
Well, they need to get through this force field.
Right.
So they kind of like go up against the force field because they can't see. Termites are blind.
They're blind.
They're blind as bats, which are also blind. As like blind humans.
And baby wolves, as we learned in Wolf Facts.
Yeah, or like say like a germ, they're blind.
Or Ray Charles.
Yeah, Ray Charles is definitely blind.
The other black piano player.
The third eye, definitely blind. Lots of things are blind, including termites.
Yeah.
But like they managed to get to the force field somehow.
Yeah,
because they feel the vibration.
Yeah, they crawl on a pine needle, and the pine needle is it's under the force field. They crawl under that.
Yeah, but like I was more surprised. Like they didn't have a plan to like get to the base. Well, they got turned around and went the wrong direction.
Right.
Just like walked off into the forest forever.
It's this Animorph plan of theirs where it's always get somewhere and hope we figure it out when we get there.
They do, because the end of this book is not the Animorphs walked into the forest and were eaten by a larger bug. We're eaten by a beetle.
Luckily, they all start to, quote, hear a voice calling to them, pulling them.
Yeah, they're drawn to something.
They're drawn to something, and
They're
all
drawn
just,
to shit.
They all just kind of say, fuck it, let's go towards that.
Well, they don't have control. Like
They don't.
They know that something is up, but they can't help themselves.
What I really liked about them turning into termites, because when they were ants, the disassociation was so fast that Rachel was just an ant. It was a Rachel book, right? I think it was a Rachel book.
Yeah, it was a Rachel book.
And it's like there was just a few sentences, staccato writing, and then she's an ant. With this, they sort of slowly turn into the termites. It's a little more subtle. And I think that was pretty good writing on Kathy Apple's part.
Yeah. I agree.
That's it. Yeah, this is the end of the book. We agreed. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Batman wins. Bye.
So, like, ultimately, here's what happens. Mm-hmm. I swiftly race down to the tunnel. Because they're drawn to this tunnel, right?
Yeah, they're going to this sound, this feeling.
Yeah. I raced swiftly down the tunnel. It headed upward at a sharp angle, but the angle meant little to me. I weighed practically nothing. A worker was ahead of me. It extruded a pellet of digested cellulose, wood pulp. I quickly gobbled it up.
She goes right for the shit.
She just sucks that shit in. Within the wood pulp food, there were messages, hormones passing through the colony, containing information, vague orders, indistinct yet powerful instructions. I was now caught up in a rush of workers off obeying the voiceless voice in their heads, which that's not great, right?
No.
Don't call something a voiceless voice.
Some were off to chew a new tunnel. Others were off to the egg chamber to rotate the eggs. And I had my orders too.
So what were her orders?
Her orders were to eat more shit.
Well, yeah, to get more hormones, right? Because
yeah,
you know, like if you are a loyal termite, you have to get more orders.
Yeah, so keep eating shit, and her body's kind of taking her to the queen's chamber.
Right.
And this is where
she's not fighting back. She's just going to the queen's chamber.
No, in fact, at this point we don't realize it. Their termite is narrating. I felt side tunnels open on one side, then the next, a tunnel above. Air flowed faint but fresh, actually creating a tiny breeze. There was no light, none. But it didn't matter because I was blind. I was blind, but I was not lost.
What am I doing?
An alien voice asked. I ignored it.
No!
The voice cried. I had heard the voice before, but it came from far away and it spoke a language I didn't understand.
No, let me go.
So this is Cassie screaming inside the ant's body.
Yeah,
and the ant trying to suppress it.
The ant?
God damn it. The termite trying to suppress it.
Yeah, no, so the termite is winning this battle of souls.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So Cassie is now in the backseat. The termite is driving, and she's trying to fight against it, and she's losing.
Headed right for the queen's chamber. She does eventually remember that she's Cassie and becomes Cassie again.
Well, yeah, she gets full Tobias brained, right?
She does.
She falls so deep within the termite that she loses her ego, I guess.
Yes.
And experiences a little touch of ego death, which, as we learn, is traumatic.
Yes, yes, it is.
Ego death is bad and hurts your brain.
And she starts screaming. And this is the part I really liked. Suddenly, I was Cassie again. I knew my name. I knew who I was. But it no longer mattered. The termite body was out of control. A stronger will than mine was guiding it.
So
that's ego death.
You know what that reminds me of is being Yeerked.
Yeah.
Right? Having Yeerk brain.
For sure.
Is that like you're in the backseat, you're in the sunken place, and you're screaming, saying, I'm in control, when you're not. Yeah. You are definitely not in control.
No, this is me. I want to win basketball games forever. Me, Jake.
I don't want to eat Tobias, my friend.
Oh, man, they ate Tobias.
They did. Don't forget the future. In the future, you eat your friend.
I'm going to eat you.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm the eatable one here?
None of us are able.
Because I'm a snack.
I'm all grizzled.
I'm a snack. So to celebrate Cassie's ego death.
Yeah, we should celebrate with our own ego
We're going to have a bit of an ego death, our own. It's called Hummingbird Porter. It's a chocolate porter by Gratitude Brewing. It's 6.1% ABVs, and the IBUs are 25.
That's a good amount of EBUs.
You know what EBUs are? Did I explain this last time?
Imperial British bitterness units?
Yeah.
Or something?
Yeah, sure.
It's how bitter your beer is. Bitter beer face.
Ooh,
chocolate.
Pouring more.
All right, let's test this beer.
Okay. I mean, it's good. It's like...
It's black as night.
Sweet as a stolen kiss.
Thank you.
Here's what I like about stout beers. Like, it's a good stout beer if you can't see through it.
Yeah, and this is such a stout, it's a porter.
It's a stout porter.
Chapter 13.
Don't do that. Oh, yeah.
Look at that. You can't see shit.
Yeah, put it right next to a light. Can't see
Isn't
through
that nice and malty? That chocolate
that's good.
That chocolate hits.
Yeah, I give this a Tobias out of Animorphs. It's that good.
Yeah, that rating system makes sense.
Well, because a really good beer is a Tobias, a really bad beer is a Jake, like a natty.
So yeah,
natty
it's
light.
6. No, not 6. We'll do 5 stars. We'll go with the human Animorphs.
Okay.
Tobias is the best. So that's 5 stars.
Yeah.
Rachel's 4 stars. This is where it gets complicated. I'm going to say Marco's 3 stars.
Yeah.
Cassie's 2 stars. Jake's 1 star. We good with that?
Yeah, 100%. There was no question there.
Okay.
Although
we just ranked the Animorphs.
I would maybe swap Cassie and Marco.
Really?
Depends on the book.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
In this book, I again, renewed appreciation for Cassie.
They're like right there in the middle.
They're fighting for position.
Yeah, that's the real race to keep an eye on.
Who is second to last? So like Cassie has lost control, and she's
screaming in the back of this termite's body.
Right, she's in the back seat.
And chapter 13 begins with the Queen.
I love this Queen. So like before, when there was a voice talking, was that the termite voice or was that the Queen voice?
I think that was the Queen voice pulling them.
Okay, so the Queen voice, like the Queen has a voice. She's like a whale in that she has a language that Cassie can understand.
Yes, although they're not words like the whale.
Well, the whales didn't have words either.
Yes, the whale said, "Weird cloud today, huh?" Are you kidding me?
I mean, okay, yeah, but like
they called them little ones.
Yeah, but they communicated through song, and Cassie understood it.
And the Queen communicates through other ants or other termites. Shit.
Yeah, so she's a shit talker.
There we go. That's a good pun.
Yeah.
The Queen has pulled them via eating shit into her queen room.
Yeah. Yes, Queen.
Yes, Queen. I could feel her power. This was her world. These were all her slaves. More than slaves. They had no will of their own.
Okay, so you're reading the book and you're not just like
Yeah, this is from the book, but I'm doing that voice.
the Ray Romano voice?
The Queen. I could feel her power. This was her world. These were all her slaves.
I hate you, Raymond. So she's going towards the Queen.
Yeah, she's getting pulled towards the Queen because the Queen wants her to protect and move eggs.
Yeah, like the Queen is just giving her a task, like, hey, go move the eggs.
Yeah. Hey, you ate my shit. Go move my eggs.
The Queen is such a dom.
Yeah. I mean, these are her slaves.
Yeah, she's a queen. She's a literal queen.
Step on me, termite queen.
Yes, honey.
Hit me with a truck. That I was unable to control that termite body I was in. That body belonged to her.
And this part I like. She like keeps on like calling out to like Marco and Rachel and other Animorphs, and they're like, "Yeah, we're in the same boat. We can't control anything."
Yeah, they're just like, "Yeah, we're all slaves here."
Well, that's the thing I didn't think about is that when they get Yeerk brained in the future, and they all get Yeerk in their brain, they can still talk to each other.
Yeah,
they can still speak to each other, but like they can't like control their bodies.
Right. So they're just screaming in these termite bodies. And then Cassie kind of puts it together how to get out.
Well, yeah, I mean, so she has to walk across the Queen to get to the eggs because that termite queen's just popping them out.
Yeah, she's like, these are my slaves. I'm popping out eggs.
She is not having any emotion. This is business.
This is business.
The Queen is a strict capitalist. Don't.
Yeah, fair.
Right. She doesn't care about the slaves.
No.
The help.
So Cassie's like, well, wait a second. Termites kill ants. I have to kill an ant. I must kill an ant. All ants must die. So she convinces her termite body that the Queen's head is an ant.
Yeah, which is a good, like, that's a Cassie solution. Rachel would try to overpower it.
Right.
Marco would actually probably have like a similar approach of like trying to trick.
Oh, there's no way he could kill his own mother. He's a pussy and he loves his mom.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, you're right. Like Marco would just like go along with.
So before they morph to termites, Jake decides they need to draw straws because someone has to stay behind to create a distraction. Mm-hmm. And he even says, do any cowards not want to go in? I mean, he doesn't say that.
No, but he does.
But he does. And Cassie thinks, oh, he's giving me an out, but it can't be my fault that these people die. I'm just going to draw straws. So they all draw straws of grass. Jake draws the short straw, so he's there to make a distraction.
Everyone's shocked, like,
what are we going to do with Jake?
What are we going to do without our leader?
What? Huh?
Turns out it's just going to be normal and smooth.
It goes about as well as they all do.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So
it's like any mission, you don't really notice Jake is there.
Yeah. So Cassie's crawling on top of the Queen, telling her body that the Queen's head is an ant. She's looking at the Queen's head, thinking,
ants, gotta kill ants, gotta kill ants,
I screamed my word in my own hand.
ants, destroy the ants.
I clambered over half a dozen termites who were tending the Queen. I could feel my will weakening. I couldn't get rid of the Queen. I had to kill an ant. That was my purpose, to keep ants away from the Queen. I scampered toward the Queen's head. I felt my antennae touch her. I opened my massive pincer jaws.
So, like, she's doing the Looney Tunes, I look at somebody and he turns into a whole turkey dinner.
It's like, oh, you look like a delicious turkey dinner. And bites the head off the Queen.
Yeah, and, like, she does bite the head off the Queen, which... radical.
Sends her termite body into disarray.
Well, yeah, because the termite's one job.
Yeah. The termite's one job, protect the Queen.
Yeah.
And then the termite body realizes that that the Queen was gone. I think in some way I wanted to forget who I was, what I had done. I wanted to become one of the lost, panicked termites.
I love this because, like, there's this termite having this existential crisis. What did I do?
Oh, God.
I gotta hide the body. This is like this poor termite. It was just like going to his 9 to 5 every day, and then like he like fades out for a second, and then he's like looking over. There's like a dead queen next to him.
He's like, oh man, there's some queen head in my mouth. I wonder who did this.
Oh God. Oh man. I gotta hide the body. What do I do? And so, like, this termite's freaking out, and Cassie's like, I have control now because he's freaking out.
Yeah, she's screaming, demorph, demorph. I screamed again, human. I wanted to be human again. Let me be human. Let me out of this place, out of this body. I grew, walls pressed in around me. I filled the tunnel. I couldn't grow anymore.
So this is like the one thing I was kind of questioning during the whole ant situation. Because they had the same responses, like, oh, we're being torn apart by ants, let's demorph. And they turned to human bodies and they just kind of popped out like a zit. In this case, like, the walls are pretty thick, right?
Yeah.
Or like, so I guess like if they try to like demorph into like a surrounding that's too tight or too strong, they'll just like explode.
Get smashed and die.
Yeah, right. And so that's what she's doing. She's like expanding in this like wood log,
and luckily it works for them. They
Axe was able to escape.
Oh yeah, Axe did escape.
Yeah, so Axe escaped. He saw that Cassie was trying to demorph inside the log, and then just like breaks open that log.
Yeah, he slices it open.
Axe is really coming through on all these.
He's a better leader than Jake. I mean, Cassie's a better leader than Jake.
Everyone's a better leader than Jake. Homer's a better leader than Jake.
Homer's a better leader than Jake. So she comes out of it all fucking shell-shocked. Even Rachel, like, kneels down and holds her and rubs her head.
Like screaming and like rocking back and forth. She's not in a good place.
She's like, let me go. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. And then they have to shut her up.
Yeah, because like she's like screaming and freaking out inside of the Yeerk base.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're in the Yeerk building surrounded by, you know, people trying to blast them with Dracon beans.
Yes.
So maybe don't scream and freak out. And this is the wrong time to do that.
Right.
But like, you know, Rachel is definitely the type of person that would scream and freak out in this situation.
Yeah. Or Cassie would.
Sorry, yes, Cassie. Cassie is the type of person that when it's time to perform, when it's time to like, you know, really like just do it no matter what, she can't.
She buckles, yeah.
She buckles. She freezes.
And at this point, she screams.
Right.
But luckily, no one hears her.
I mean, they can get lucky. I think it's fine.
Yeah, they can get lucky. It's just Cassie's a fucking dip.
Well, Cassie's not built for war. She's not a warrior. She's a veterinarian.
That's
she's
fair.
She's
the healer. She's the empath. She's
she's the person that like is wanting to find skunk babies because their mommy's away.
Right. Okay.
You know, like
all right. Yes.
She's not the warrior, which also kind of leads to like the question of why didn't she pick a more ferocious morph? Maybe she just doesn't want to. You know, like maybe she doesn't want to be the animal that tears and shreds and stamps. It goes all elephant mode on everybody. She wants to like be the wolf because it's a bit closer to nature, you know?
And she does, I mean, she has that problem.
In any case, she kind of collects herself a bit more. And
Axe hacks the computer.
Yeah, he goes in, he hacks the Gibson.
Yeah,
he's
he
like,
hacks the Gibson.
I've turned off the force field and learned about
Mr. Ferrand.
Mr. Ferrand and Damson Lumber Company.
Yeah, and he laughs because Dapson is a Yeerkish word that means something. He says, never mind what it means. It isn't polite. So it's like, fuck logging.
Yeah. Welcome to Cum Blast Logging Company.
He hacks. They find out that they need to. There's one guy who's gonna vote for the permits. They have one yes vote, one no vote, and then one unsure. They're bringing the unsure guy in a week or so.
Yeah, they assume the yes votes probably has been Yeerked.
Mm-hmm. And the no vote not Yeerked. So this guy, they're either going to A, Yeerk him, or B, convince him to let them log.
Yeah, like slide him a 20 under the table.
Yeah.
It's like, hey.
So they get all this. They turn off the force field. They leave peacefully.
Yeah, they just say escape, and nobody notices.
Which is fine because, I mean, honestly, I didn't have a problem with that because
Jake wasn't there to screw it up.
Jake wasn't there to screw it up, but also the fact that these alien slugs are so reliant on their technology and think that it will always work and nothing will ever screw it up. Yeah, that tracks. They're dumb.
Humans do that too. It's
Right.
relatable. Unless it's a net. You never expect that net to come on you.
And then Cassie continues to have a little bit of a breakdown as they're leaving.
Yeah, she does like the whole like floating thing where she just
Yeah.
kind of skates from scene to scene without actually commenting on it because
Yeah.
she's still in shock.
And she says this, and I think this is a bigger step towards her awakening to a larger, more cruel, harsher world. She says, I have been more animals than many people ever see in a lifetime. I've flown with the wings of an osprey. I've raced the ocean in the body of a dolphin. I've seen the world through the eyes of an owl at night, and smelled the wind with all the keen senses of a wolf. I've flown upside down and backward in the body of a fly. Sometimes I go out into the far fields at night and become a horse and run through the grass. And everything I've been, every animal, is either killer or killed. In a million battles all around the world, on every continent, in every square inch of space, there was killing. From the great cats in Africa that cold-bloodedly search out the young and weak gazelles, to the terrible wars that are fought out in anthills and termite colonies. All of nature was at war. And, at the top of all that destruction, humans killed each other as well as other species. And now those same people have been enslaved and destroyed by the Yeerks. Nature at its finest. Cute, cuddly animals who slaughtered to live. The color of nature wasn't green. It was red. Blood red. I think that's a pretty good...
Yeah, her brain is broke.
She's realizing that... she says, I was scared. I was alone. I didn't know what was going to happen to me. And then I thought of the lost skunk kits. Unlovable little creatures to most people. But they were scared and alone too, if they were still alive.
She's been blackpilled.
She's been blackpilled so hard.
Right? Like, she's just like, oh, nature is really just violence and death.
Yeah, she focused on what she did. She killed the queen of a colony, essentially killing the colony.
Right.
So that she could live.
Yeah. She did a murder, and not just like a single one, but like, entire colony of murders.
She felt the death of the queen and the colony. That's why she flipped out and morphed.
Well, I think like the thing that really got her was that she felt the horror that she had committed as the termite.
Yes.
Right? She got the termite brain saying like, oh God, what did I do?
Right.
And that affected her in a way, because it really brought home like, these aren't just bugs.
No.
Right? Like, she understood the feelings that termites had. And even though like, at the beginning they're like, oh, these termites are like robots. She felt the powers of the hormones, right?
Yes,
she felt the powers of like what a termite would feel. So yeah, she did a murder, and now she's done with war and wants to like escape into the world of taking care of skunks.
Yeah, so she goes to sleep. Rachel wakes up and is very friendly, realizing that Cassie's obviously had a bad night. And then she kind of calls it quits, and Cassie sneaks out in the woods, where she runs into Tobias, and we get to some of the best stuff in this book.
Yeah, having a chat with the wise bird as
and so Cassie unloads on Tobias.
Hey, Cassie. A thought-speak voice said as I crunched noisily through the woods. What's going on?
I looked up and saw Tobias go skimming by. He flared, turned on a dime, and landed on a branch. He dug his ripping talons into the soft bark. Not much, I said.
I heard you had a pretty bad night last night.
Yeah? Who did you talk to?
Axe? Who else? He was definitely weirded out by the whole thing.
I stopped walking. There was something in the way he said weirded out. Tobias, who else did you talk to?
Maybe Marco,
he said. And Marco told you I went nuts, right?
Well, actually, the word he used was insane. Also, Looney Tunes, wacko, bananas, cuckoo, caboor.
Banana.
No.
Yeah, it says wacko. I laughed bitterly. Well, I guess I did go a bit wacko, I said.
Welcome to the club,
Tobias said.
None of us are going to come through this all completely normal. You know that. Too much fear.
Well, I'm pretty sick of it, I said. I had to destroy the termite queen. I know she was just a bug, but who am I to decide that it's okay to kill one animal and not another? Here I am, the big earth mother, tree hugger, animal lover, as Marco would say. And when it gets down to it, I'm just
like me?
Just like any predator, I said lamely.
You feel bad because you had to kill the queen in order to survive.
I shouldn't have been there. It's their world, not mine. Those little tunnels and a rotten piece of wood. That's their whole universe. I invaded it. And when they got in my way, I reacted. Who does that remind you of?
Look, you are not a Yeerk, and termites are not human beings.
Tobias said.
There is no comparison.
I didn't bother arguing. Look, I have to morph. There's something I need to do.
What?
It's something stupid, all right? There's this mother skunk we have who's injured. She has a litter of kits who are going to die. I think I know where they are, more or less, but I can't get there walking like a human. For a moment, Tobias said nothing.
Skunk kits? Near the edge of the Yeerk logging compound.
Yes.
I can show you where they are.
For a frozen moment of time, I refused to understand what he just said. I didn't want to think of why Tobias, why a red-tailed hawk, would know the exact location of a litter of skunk babies. I took a couple of deep breaths. I tried to keep my voice level. Are they still alive?
There are 4 still alive.
Tobias said. I felt an emotion I don't feel very often. I felt it boiling up inside me. I glared furiously at him, at the ripping talons, at the nastily curved beak. And so she pictures Tobias eating one of the babies. And he did eat one of the babies.
Tobias needs to get a little snack every now and then. Like I love how he just like kind of like, yeah, I might have had. There are 4 left. There's plenty.
Yeah, so she pictures Tobias ripping this baby apart. They describe it pretty well.
Yeah, because...
And Cassie starts shaking and flipping out, and she says, I'm going to save what's left of them. And Tobias says, I'll help you.
Yeah, what else is he going to say? So chapter 16.
She turns into an osprey. They fly towards the kit.
So
the kits. The baby skunks.
Skunk babies are called kits.
Yes.
Okay.
So she says, he pointed out the almost invisible entrance to the skunk's lair, and then he flew away. I knew he'd go to Jake and tell him what I was doing, and I knew that I had hurt Tobias by treating him so coldly. But to tell you the truth, I didn't care right then. I just wanted to find those baby skunks. I don't know why, but somehow in my mind, those baby skunks had become very important. So Cassie kind of disassociates to seek comfort.
Yeah, I also like how that kind of sucks for Tobias. It's like, you ate my friend, you animal.
Right.
Like, oh, no, yeah. Tobias needs to eat. This is not his fault, obviously, but like he definitely does feel bad about it. He feels like he's turning into an animal.
Right.
That sucks.
So she turns into the skunk mother, crawls in there, and starts playing with these babies.
Well, yeah, starts...
Like nurturing them.
Right. They haven't seen their mother for a while. One of their siblings has disappeared.
Yeah. One of them's gone. We don't know why or what. So she...
And she starts like, just kind of playing around and cuddling with the
gives
babies.
them a bug to eat, right?
Yeah. She flew with a bunch of frozen grasshoppers, I guess.
Yeah.
It's always funny when they're in their bird morph and they're carrying something.
Right. And then she goes to, she just, feels so comforted, so happy, she goes to sleep with them. And this happens. I knew I only had 2 hours in morph, but even though I had just gotten up a few hours earlier, I suddenly felt sleepy. The meal was done, the kits wouldn't starve, and I was sleepy and very, very peaceful. Even in my sleep, I knew what was happening to me. See, I had always loved animals, always, but now, I think I was falling out of love. Nature wasn't all cute and fuzzy. The strong ate the weak ate the weaker. It's what the Yeerks were doing, trying to make prey out of the ultimate predator, Homo sapiens. And that's when we get a whoomph with Jake knocking on the fucking den.
And so for this scene, I picture Jake just kind of rolling up and just banging on this log.
Yeah, hey, get the fuck out of there, bitch!
Hey, Cassie, what are you doing there? Cassie, hey!
Hey, oh, whoa!
Hey,
whoa!
Whoa!
And he screams at Cassie.
Right.
And he's like, bitch, you've been in morph for almost 2 fucking hours. Get the fuck out of that skunk hole.
And Cassie just rolls out. It's like, it's fine. I'm awake, and she transforms out.
Yeah, and Jake's like, are you out of your fucking mind? What's the matter with you?
You were 10 minutes away. Which, by the way, 10 minutes is a long time.
Yeah, and Cassie's like, okay, whatever, I'm sorry.
And, Jake just, flips out.
He's
like, are you out of your mind? What's the matter with you? Jake's veins are starting to throb.
Yeah, he's, so angry, and she says, I never noticed that Jake has a vein that kind of pops on his forehead when he's furious.
Right, Jake has some, very powerful middle manager energy coming out of this.
Yeah, big-time PMC right here.
Right.
He goes, this is not why we have this ability. We are not trying to save every lost skunk in the world, Jake ranted.
It's she's accusing Cassie of, being a time thief.
Right. We
you
are
did not
an army.
Out.
A small, weak, pathetic, outnumbered army. We have exactly 6 members. Tobias has already been trapped in Morph, but he was trapped fighting the Yeerks. I can't believe you would nearly get yourself trapped in Morph over some skunks.
Yeah, so Jake has like no empathy at all.
No, what you do in this minute is like, Cassie, what the fuck? What's going on?
You're being irresponsible with your body.
Yeah, it's
like, you know,
it's like, I'm worried about you.
Right, show concern first. Like, this is me being angry because I'm worried about you, not like, hey, what are you doing? We're fighting the Yeerks.
Right, yeah. So he screams at her in front of Tobias and Marco, and then he tells them,
Right, Tobias and Marco are there.
Yeah.
Like, this shit is embarrassing.
Yeah, and he's like, they're like, whoa, Jake, it's okay. She's okay. And Jake's like, yeah, thanks to Tobias. No thanks to her.
Yeah, thank God Marco's there. Otherwise, who knows where this will go, right?
Right. So Jake says, Marco, Tobias, take a walk.
Like, take a walk? Like,
yeah. He
like,
tells
was he
them
gonna
to
take off his belt?
Yeah,
Like, this shit sucks.
And then he's like, then he turned and stood with his face just inches from mine. I know you had a real bad experience last night. I've been there. I've had the nightmares. I know what's going on in your head right now. I'm fine, I muttered. Just shut up and listen to me, he said. But the anger was gone now. I care about you, Cassie. We all do. And we all need you. So he goes, like, he fucking yells at her. He gets in her face and then pulls the, baby, I love you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I flew off the handle there.
Baby, I love you.
So, I mean, but, like, we're making fun of it, but, like, here's the thing. This legitimately kind of read as, like, a...
Oh, yeah. He screams at her in front of his friends.
Right.
Gets in her shit.
Yeah.
And says, baby, I love you. It's fine.
Right. But, like, only like that in private. Like, not when the friends are around.
No, that's fucking fucked.
Yeah, like, that's an abusive relationship.
That is so fucking abusive.
It's emotionally manipulative.
Let me pour some more porter in there.
Yeah, let's spill some tea.
The tea is Jake sucks.
Yeah.
And he's an abuser.
He is. He totally is. Like, you know, he was getting, like, legitimately pissed for why? Because he was embarrassed?
Yeah.
Like, that
because
was it.
she disobeyed him by
Right.
seeking comfort in a morph.
Right, exactly.
Something he's also fucking done.
Yeah, but, like, the thing is he hasn't. Like, I don't think he's actually had the amount of stress that, say, like, a Rachel and a Cassie have
Well, no,
had.
he doesn't feel stressed because he's dumb.
Yeah, he just wants to do stunts all day.
He's fucking stupid. He's like, I play basketball forever. Me good at it.
Yeah, but, like, then he comes, like, he flies off the handle at Cassie for, like, what, falling asleep?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, here's the thing. That was dangerous.
It was irresponsible and dangerous.
Right, but, like, the motivations behind it are important. And she
Right.
did it because she needed to escape. And instead of, like, you know, just, like, chewing her out, which, again, like, what right does he have to chew Cassie out for anything? Whatever. The important thing here is that I think this kind of also shows why Cassie and Jake are an item. Is because Cassie is timid. She is easily kowtowed by this sort of behavior and says, like, yeah, it was my fault. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, like, she's the type of person that would immediately apologize. And this isn't me, like, projecting onto this. Like, this is something she does. She apologizes and she says, I know I was being irresponsible. Right? Like, oh, maybe we should tell Jake about our, you know, turning into a rat. Or,
Right.
I don't think Jake would approve of this. Like, she's always looking for the approval of Jake.
Right.
Which, like, it's not Jake's business what you do.
Right.
Really.
Only in the context of the relationship, whatever the fuck that is in
Right.
middle school. But other than that, this is the time you've got to learn autonomy and how to deal with your own emotional problems, which she's trying to fucking do.
Right. And even then, like, even if Cassie is like, you know what, I want to be a skunk forever. Like, that's Cassie. That's Cassie.
Yeah, that's her choice.
That's not what she's going for here, of course. But, like, you know, I think, like, there's a sense of ownership that Jake has, not just on Cassie, but on everybody, that is shitty.
Yeah, for sure.
Jake has this, like, you're all my soldiers, I own your behavior attitude, and that sucks.
That totally sucks.
So,
Jake sucks.
Jake sucks. Like, I suppose there's nothing new here. But,
No,
like, this is another kind of thing.
This is nakedly exposing how Jake sucks, though, which is this is a new type of Jake suckery.
Yeah, normally it's just he's incompetent.
Yeah, he's usually incompetent. Now he becomes Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Because Cassie's my Riri. You know what I'm saying?
Who's Riri?
Rihanna.
Who's Rihanna?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I thought Chris Brown was just cinnamon for, like, an asshole.
He beat her.
I pooped out of my Chris Brown.
All right, I'll allow that one. That's a good one.
Hey, you like that?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Got out of the old Chris Brown.
So Cassie says, I don't care about what y'all say. We're going to guard these babies.
Well, I think everyone else is on board with it. Even Marco.
They're all like, yeah, okay, this is obviously important to Cassie. We have some time to kill before this guy goes out to the logging camp.
Yeah.
We can do this a little bit. We'll do it in shifts. Tobias is like, yeah, I'll keep an eye on him.
I promise not to eat anymore.
Yeah, I solemnly swear, for as long as I live, I'll not eat another baby skunk.
Well, doesn't Cassie even like promise to give him like frozen mice to eat?
Yeah, she brings him frozen food.
Yeah.
So I guess chapter 17 is just them taking care of these skunks for 2 days.
But I kind of like it. Like it's a nice like low stakes slice of life thing that I kind of appreciate.
It is for sure. Definitely. It's
Axe has some good things like where the great thing about Axe is that he's turned into like the person that just quotes the almanac.
Yes,
which I appreciate.
And
he talks about like eating things.
Yeah, he's like, you eat cows, pigs, dogs, and like, no, we don't eat dogs, not in this culture. They decide that they're going to do it.
Yeah,
because this is important to Cassie. They can tell that she's broken, and Marco has a good line. He says, you know, actually, it's kind of a relief finding out Cassie is crazy. We know Rachel's nuts. We know I'm crazy. Cassie's been the only sane one for so long. Welcome to the loony bin, Cassie. Save the skunks. Hug the trees. Let dogs vote. Which, I think let dogs vote is a pretty good idea.
I would trust a dog vote.
More than those dirty liberals and conservatives.
Yeah, those clowns in Congress.
I forged my own path.
I think dogs are just honest.
I could have a beer with a dog.
Yeah.
I just want a dog I could have a beer with.
Yeah, you know, like, you can trust the dog.
Yeah, so...
I mean, there are towns in Alaska that have voted for dogs before. This is not untreaded territory.
And Cassie takes this a little personally. They laugh, but now she realizes that his humor cuts a little deeper than it would have.
Well, I think part of the whole, like, loony bin thing is that I think they all pictured Cassie as this quiet, but like
smart, reserved
person.
caring.
But in reality, she was just being like quiet and hidden.
Right.
Like she felt the same things. It's just she never brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so like with this humor cutting a little bit deeper, I think it's because like, oh, they don't quite see me, you know, as somebody that could have those feelings.
Right.
Right. Which sucks.
Yeah. When you realize that your friends don't see you as a person.
Yeah. Yes.
It totally sucks.
Yeah. They see you instead as like some tree hugging caricature.
Yeah,
that's a bad feeling.
Or you're just the funny one. You have no inner monologue or life.
Yeah, Marco.
So,
well, like the end of this chapter, I appreciate because she's coming to the well, it's not the realization, but she's starting to accept that like maybe Marco was right. Mm-hmm. Maybe I am crazy.
Right.
Right. Which is bad news. That's a bad spot to be. It's like maybe the person calling me crazy is actually the smart one, and I am crazy.
Maybe.
That's when you actually start going crazy and start like shaving half your head off, and, you know, taking some drugs in the forest and being irresponsible and
disassociating, breastfeeding some skunks and falling asleep. I really thought this was going to end with her breastfeeding the skunks.
Yeah,
I mean, I know I've read this book before, but I didn't really remember it. So the whole time I was like, oh God, is she going to breastfeed those babies?
Yeah.
I kind of a missed opportunity.
Well, like,
how else do you know a skunk has just recently had kids? They got fat milk tits.
Yeah, they got those skunk titties.
Really, she really dropped the ball on this one.
Would you drink skunk milk?
Yeah.
No hesitation.
Hard pressed to find a type of milk I wouldn't drink, brother.
Rat milk.
Yeah.
Dog milk.
Oh, yeah.
Cow milk.
Yeah.
Breast milk.
Depends on the breast.
Soy milk.
Do I get to take it from the breast, or does it come in a cup? Either way, yes. I'll do both. I'll put one of those cylinders like Luke put on that monster's titty to suck the blue milk out.
Only if it's blue. Tastes like blueberries.
Oh, baby.
You know what's good is banana milk. Banana milk.
Oh, do you remember root beer float milk?
So good. Chocolate milk.
We're just a couple of milkmen talking fave milks.
You know, like if we're having like real milk chat, here's the thing. You don't like
real milk chat.
Milk chat with the Milky Boys.
We're a couple of milky men talking about doing milk chat. Go on.
All right, so here's some milk chat. So chocolate milk. The reason why they add chocolate to chocolate milk is coloring reasons, because like sometimes the automatic milkers, they milk too hard.
Mm-hmm. Oh, blood.
Yeah. Yep. So like a little bit of blood actually gets mixed into the milk and it kind of tints it a reddish color. So that's when they decided this is going to be the batch of chocolate milk. because when they add chocolate, it turns it all brown, so you don't really notice it.
And that was Milk Talk with the Milkmen.
Also, just in general, like a lot of milk is actually has pus included in with it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of pus in milk because the sores from pulling on the titties with the machines.
Right,
Sucks
like
pus into the milk.
Pus is going to come with it.
You don't get that from almonds. You don't get that from soy.
And that's your latest news update from the Milky Boys.
We're the Milkmen.
Chapter 18.
Chapter 18. They take care of these skunks for 2 straight days. That's what they do.
But here's the thing: it's a good team building exercise.
Yeah.
It's like fucking corporate. That sounds. It is.
Yeah, and it's a reprieve from having to fight aliens with lasers.
It's better than the dumb movie they went and saw.
Yeah. They went to see Star Trek.
Yeah, whatever.
Around this time, it was probably the one with Tom Hardy. Was that Nemesis? Oh, Captain Picard.
Chapter 18.
Now, so yeah, they take care of these skunks.
They named the skunks.
Yeah, after the Ramones.
The Ramones suck, right?
I mean, no. Yes, yes, no.
The Ramones suck.
Their
bad.
their importance cannot be understated.
Sure, but they can still be awful.
Yeah, they definitely loved heroin.
Oh, that's not awful. I mean,
Are you fucking?
hold on, wait. I'm not encouraging anyone to love heroin.
So they were influential.
Yes.
They also made Rock and Roll High School. It's just a super good movie if you've never seen it.
It's such a good movie.
Where the Ramones show up and destroy a high school.
Yo, fuck school.
It's
1980. Welcome to Rock and Roll High School.
Rock and Roll High School?
like no movie. Well, I can think of one movie that has formed my sexuality more than Rock and Roll High School.
Cherry 2000.
No.
True Lies.
True Lies. Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh, JLC. My hands are starting to sweat just thinking about it.
I've actually never seen Cherry 2000. Is it worth watching?
Yeah, but I thought that was Melanie Griffith.
No, that's your girl.
I gotta look this up. Ah, it's Melanie Griffith. I fucking told you.
Ah, dang it.
I knew it.
Ah,
You're just gonna edit out that I was right.
What about Cherry 2000 with Melanie Griffith?
I mean, yes, that was formative too. I mean, obviously True Lies.
True Lies.
Rock and Roll High School, because PJ Souls as Riff Randall, the biggest Ramones fan.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You know what movie I saw recently that's like the Ramones is Cry Baby. That's a good movie.
It was a good movie.
John Waters, underappreciated.
Oh, he's perfect. This is a pro John Waters podcast.
Cecil B. Demented is an unappreciated John Waters movie, and it does have its problems.
It does.
It is a good movie.
Yes, agreed.
I defend Cecil B. Demented.
I will also take up that banner.
Okay, good.
I'll fight this war with you. You've got my axe.
Do we have the acts of Joey, Johnny, Marky, and CJ?
Yes, the Ramones. He named the baby skunks after the Ramones.
Man, Marco's the kid that would know the Ramones.
I knew the Ramones.
Yeah?
Yeah, I fucking knew 24 hours ago, I want to be so doo-doo.
I mean, it is a banger. I'm not going to deny
It's they were influential, but I think overall, at that era, the Clash were better.
Sure.
Because Guns of Brixton is a fucking better song than the Ramones ever made.
Oi, we're the Sex Pistols. My name is Sid Vicious.
Hello, I'm Sid Vicious. I like to stab my girlfriend.
No,
Well, maybe I got stabbed. Either way, I know that I love the heroin.
And the Union Jack.
And that is British history with the Milkmen.
Chapter 18.
We're into Chapter 18. They're feeding the babies, having a good time, taking care of the babies. Even Tobias is watching them.
Not eating them.
Not eating them.
Very important.
And then Cassie...
He chases off a badger, which I think is great.
He does. He's like, there's a badger here. I fucked this shit up.
Hell yeah. Did you take his eyes, Tobias?
You know that he took the badger's eyes.
It's like a blind badger. It's just
Well, maybe he just took one. Who knows?
You think he only takes one eye when he's snatching eyeballs?
He takes one eye in this book.
Yeah, he does. Well, here's the thing. I think he takes two if it's
if he can.
If he really intends to kill them, you know? Mm-hmm. He only took one badger eye.
Yeah. And at the end of these 2 days, Cassie's realizing, oh God, the onus is on me to teach these babies how to hunt for bugs.
Yeah, how to be skunks.
I need to teach these babies how to get bugs. So she takes them all out of their little their little hole.
Yeah, for a little scamper.
Yeah, they have a little cute little scamper, and she's like, "Oh, they're so obedient and nice.
Yeah,
well behaved."
I'd be wondering that too. Like,
I didn't expect these little criminals, these thugs, to be so well behaved.
You think she's looking down on the skunks?
I mean, they're skunks.
You dumb animals. What are you? Oh, you're so behaved. Well, yeah, because like she's walking ahead and she's like, "Are they behind me still? Like, is this a?" And yeah, then
they are.
They totally are.
She teaches them how to hunt for bugs.
Yeah, and then she hears something in the bushes. It's a threat.
It's a threat, a big scary threat.
It's a big barking scary threat.
Without warning, she turns her ass. She puts her ass in the air.
Yeah, like just so
like
naturally.
She just doesn't care. I mean, it's the instinct. She mentions that if a skunk stops and looks at you, that's a warning.
Mm-hmm.
If it lifts its tail, that's a bigger warning.
Right.
If it turns its butt to you with its tail up, you fucked.
And it's something every animal kind of understands to a
Yes.
certain extent.
Everything but dogs.
Because dogs are big dumb idiots.
They're big dumb idiots.
Which is why we love dogs, by
Yeah.
the way. Like, how we domesticated dogs was by making them as dumb as possible. It's the same with sheep.
Yeah.
Is that, we selectively breed the dumbest animal.
And Republicans. Hold on.
You slayed them.
And the Democrats. Sorry, we'll put 2 cuts in there.
Yeah, so whichever like state you live in.
Whichever one likes us more, we'll play to you.
There's a dang Cheeto in that warehouse.
Dang Cheeto. I actually love our president, and he looks good. He's healthy. So they hear this noise, the
Right.
and finally she sees the one dog that's the only dog who's ever been smarter than its master. She sees Homer.
But she sees it when it's too late. She
sees it when-
sprays that dog.
She sprays Jake's dog.
Hoses that dog down with the stink.
Shoots its ass goo right at Homer.
And Homer backs off, realizes that he made a mistake.
he fucking bounces.
Right. And like immediately what Homer does is goes to Jake and just like rubs himself all over Jake.
And then Homer kind of gets forgotten because they start to hear shredding noises.
Yeah. There's some logging going on.
There's logging going on. They're like, wait, what the fuck? We still had time. And Tobias is like, let me go check on this. And Tobias comes back and he's like, they got that guy. They're
Like,
bringing the guy.
The guy is supposed to be like here in a week. What's going on? The guy, Pharaoh, what's his name?
Farrand.
Ferdinand.
It's Farrand. F-A-R-R-A-N-D.
Pharaoh. Frankie.
We'll just call him Frank.
Yeah, Frank.
And Cassie's like, okay, we got to grab him. That's the plan.
Just snatch him up.
They just say they're going to snatch him up.
Yeah, so here's my biggest complaint with this book,
Mm-hmm.
I think, is that the most interesting story is Cassie and her adventure with the skunks and the termites. This next bit, adventure with Frankie Boy, I feel is like underdeveloped and just like not important to the story.
Super underdeveloped. It has a few little good philosophical things. And
so in chapter 19, they go to chase after Frankie Boy.
yeah, and in chapter 19, they make the plan. We're just going to grab him.
We're just gonna like Marco turn into a gorilla and then put him on your soldier and run away.
Yeah.
just grab him and run.
They're just going to figure it out. The Animorphs way is figure it out. So Cassie and Tobias kind of have a heart-to-heart.
Look, Tobias, this has been bothering me, and since, I want to get this off my chest. I'm sorry I got mad at you over the skunk kid. You were just doing what you had to do.
I could feel my bones thinning and hollowing out. Gray feathers began to paint their patterns on my arms. I could live off food you guys brought me, Tobias said. I don't have to hunt.
Okay, then why do you? I asked just before my mouth mutated into a beak.
Because I'm not just a human. I'm also a hawk. Hawks hunt live prey. Would it be better if I let you do my killing for me? Is it more moral if I eat a frozen mouse you get from some supplier?
Look, Tobias, I know all about how nature works. I know about predators and prey. It's confusing. I mean, where does right and wrong come into it?
I don't know. I guess if I were running around killing animals I didn't intend to eat, that would be wrong. But hawks have a right to live just as much as a mouse or a skunk.
So they're having like this nice philosophical conversation.
Yeah, they're like, what's right about
I would
this?
say the two characters that could have a philosophical conversation
Yeah,
are having it.
especially this conversation,
Yeah.
who is right, who has a right to live, who has a right to kill. And I like that they don't come down on a concrete answer because that is a hard fucking discussion to have.
Yeah. So
Cassie's like, I get it. Why do you do it? And he goes, because I have to do it.
well, here's the thing. I have an answer to this unanswerable question.
Go on.
You kill whales. They're the largest creature that can feed as many people as you can possibly imagine.
In fact,
and only one person dies. The whale.
That's such a great idea because fat is naturally filling and they have a lot of blubber, so it would keep people full longer. They wouldn't have to eat as much.
Right. For 1 month, you could feed the entire planet with one dead whale. That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Whale fact.
Well, fact. Gratitude. Also the name of the brewing with our beer and what the whale says.
Yeah, some gratitude. No, like, you know what this reminds me of is the movie Oakjaw. I don't know if you actually got around to seeing that.
Yeah, Oakjaw's great.
Yeah, and like it's this idea of when is it right to eat something? Like, and so the answer is like nature is cruel and nature is just going to do what nature does. And humans are different. And I think they have that conversation later in the book about like why humans have to kind of make the choice of what's morally right or wrong. But like for a hawk to do something is completely different.
Yeah, it's actually later in this chapter. So Cassie's like, well, what if he's a controller? What if he's not a controller? And Tobias says, I don't know. I guess we focus on attacking the logging operation itself. Really? You know what we'd do if he were a non-human controller, I asked? We'd go after him and whatever happened, right? You mean like a termite, Tobias asked dryly. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean, I said. Look, Cassie, you're human, Homo sapien. Your job is to keep yourself and your species alive. That's all nature wants from you. That's the whole point of evolution, to survive. He sounded angry. Survive, I said flatly. That's the law of nature, the number one law, and humans are a part of nature. Well, then so are the Yeerks, and we're no better than them. I guess we'll have to worry about that one later, Tobias said.
So, since we're like throwing some like family stuff out there, like I came from a family of vegetarians. Both my mom and my Pep were vegetarians.
Yeah, and I came from a family where I hunted and killed for food.
Right. Your parents and my parents were like, when it comes to food, we're on the same terms. Like, it's up to a personal choice as humans to decide whether or not like you want to eat a living thing.
Right.
Because we have the ability to kind of think through it, I think. Yeah, like I think a lot of vegetarians kind of get like painted into the corner of, you must hate me because I eat meat. Right? Like this idea of like, if you think animals are so precious and like they have feelings and emotions, you see me as a murderer, which isn't the case at all. I think it's just, we have the ability to make a choice. You can't look down on nature for doing nature.
Right.
Right?
I agree.
You know, there's no evil animal.
Right. Except the Yeerk.
That's what it boils down to, is that there's no animal that is inherently evil or good for that matter. Like, let's be fair.
Right.
Like, you know,
they run on rudimentary needs that they have to fulfill.
And that's not to say that you shouldn't be compassionate to animals, you know.
No, you definitely should.
Right, just because like one is not nicer than the other doesn't mean that you should have sympathy for them.
Wolves,
they still have feelings and emotions and you know,
preferences and
things that life has.
Right.
So you should respect that.
Right. Like we learned earlier in Animal Facts, you take the wolves out of Yellowstone, the ecosystem falls apart. They're a deadly predator. They have been known to hunt children.
Sure. But you don't blame the wolves for hunting children.
No, you don't.
If a dingo eats your baby, it is not the dingo that is wrong.
No, it's the baby. That baby shouldn't have been eaten by the dumb dingo.
Don't be so weak, you fucking baby.
If you take anything from this podcast, it's that humans have the right to choose and that babies should not be dumb.
Survival of the fittest. If you're strong enough, you have the right to eat something that's weaker than you.
I will eat my neighbors.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Well, no, like honestly, this argument is the opposite of this. Like this book is about just because you can, you shouldn't.
Right.
You know, but like the thing is, wolves need to eat. They need.
Yeah,
to,
they
like,
need to hunt and eat.
Right, and it's part of their nature, and it's part of their kind of like position in the natural ecosystem to be an apex predator. That's what they're designed to do. Humans have developed these dumb brains
Yeah,
that
these,
has like
these feelings, these complicated emotions.
right, and these like ability to like think your way through a situation to exploit it. And so since we can exploit nature, we need to really think about how we're doing that.
Absolutely.
Right,
And
so-
maybe we shouldn't exploit nature so much.
right. Well, at least to be conscious of it, not like say like just because I can, I should.
Right.
Right.
Agreed.
You know, just because I can say kill entire herds of buffalo and then maybe take like a little bit of steak from one. You know?
Yeah.
Just because on the Oregon Trail in that game, you can shoot all the buffalo, but you can only carry home 300 pounds.
Yeah, and honestly, when I was growing up, when me or my dad would get a deer or an elk or a bear, that was the meat we ate for months. We didn't buy hamburger from the store.
No.
We didn't buy chicken. We took our animals, we butchered them, and we would make sausage, hamburger, whatever, steaks. That's what we ate for months.
Right.
For months.
But it only becomes skeevy when you have the hunter bumper sticker and then you start like, you know, jerking off to you being like such a strong hunter. You know, because it's really like, you know, once it becomes you showing off of nature,
Right.
right? You know, like I'm so much better than nature, eat shit.
Yeah, it's not about what's the biggest thing I can kill.
Right.
Or what's the biggest trophy I can get. It's
What is someone like
I need
fucking-
sustenance.
Yeah.
I'm going to provide for myself and my
Right.
family.
I will eat my neighbors.
There's a difference between somebody eating an elk and someone shooting an elephant and taking his tail and like saying like, look at me, my name is not Papa John's,
Jimmy John.
yeah, look at me, my name is Jimmy John. I just like fucking killed this thing and laughed because
Yeah, I shot a defenseless, non-aggressive animal.
yeah, guess what? Humans have fucking won the fight in nature. We don't need to do this anymore.
Yeah, we got drones. Obama showed us that we got drones, so we can hunt whatever we want as
Right.
long as it's an Afghan wedding.
So Cassie's feeling very upset. But no, like the conclusion to this argument is that Cassie feels guilty because she did something for the sake of humans.
Yeah,
Which is she killed a termite colony for the sake of herself.
right.
And she feels bad about that. Tobias's counterpoint is that's the whole point of nature, and you were just fulfilling your spot in nature.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily you did a human response, you did an animal response.
Right.
Your animal response is to survive.
Right.
And so if I, Nate, am being chased by, you know, a tiger
Named Tyler, me.
and I shoot the tiger, that's fine. That's survival. It's okay to survive. That's a thing that the animal human does.
Yeah,
But if I was just shooting a tiger because I want to show how big and strong I am to kill a tiger, that's garbage.
That is garbage. And that will to survive is something that our bodies do innately. That's why we store glycogen in our muscles. It's the very last thing our body breaks down as it's dying, as that last ditch effort to survive. Never fucking works, because if you're at the glycogen stage, you're fucking dead. We gotta survive.
Chapter 21.
So at the end of chapter 20,
Yeah.
they feel it. They see a man leave
Oh,
the
yeah.
logging trailer, and they fucking feel it.
They don't even need to like confirm and look.
No.
They just know the vibes that are coming off of this thing.
So Cassie says this. Then from the building, there came a man. And yet, this man felt wrong. Even from up in the air, I felt a chill that seemed to emanate from him. Him, Tobias said. I knew instantly what Tobias meant. I only saw him once in a human morph, but it's him, Tobias said. Visser 3.
The man above nature. Visser 3.
The controller of nature. So he shows up.
And like, here's why I like these two chapters back to back. It ends with Visser 3. Chapter 21 starts with
Visser 3.
like, it's just like, shit's gotten real.
This shit's on.
Yeah, before it was like a fun mission where you're just like chilling out in the forest base.
Yeah.
Visser 3 is showing up and like people are going to get shot.
It's when Visser 3's there, nothing goes well.
Omar is coming.
Yes. So
Okay.
they
recap who Visser 3 is. Like, we need to know.
yeah, because if this is your first time reading the book, they'll tell you who Visser 3 is.
Hey, I'm an idiot teenager and I'm going to start at book 9 of the Animorphs.
I mean, if you were poor, that's what you had to do.
That's the thing. And okay, so when we get guests, this is why it's important to start wherever we start with them, because of course I think we can't have guests.
We're gonna have guests. Let's be honest.
So Visser 3 shows up, and he lays down the law.
Yeah, so this Ferrand guy jumps out of the truck. They can tell that he's pissed off about the logging.
Right.
And Visser 3 does the most Visser 3 thing he could do. He bitch slaps this motherfucker and knocks him down.
This guy is like, what are you doing with this logging? And just like, slap.
He slaps him to the fucking ground.
So down he goes.
He's going to hear 2 hits.
Right,
Me
and
hitting
so,
you hitting the ground.
Yeah, so Cassie and Tobias are flying as hawks to the scene.
Right.
Right, and so they see Frankie Boy just get knocked down by Visser 3. And so they do what they know how to do.
They go for the eyes.
Well, no, Tobias goes for the eyes.
They both go for eyes.
Cassie goes for a scalp.
Okay, okay.
Cassie scalps Visser 3.
Yes.
Cassie just goes in there, rakes that bald head of his. I raked my talons forward. I flared my wings just enough to keep from overshooting it, and I struck. I could feel my talons bite into his scalp. And then I was out of there, carried away by my own momentum.
The Visser yelled. At the same instant, Tobias hit one of the guys from the Jeep. Tobias has more experience than I do. His aim is better. The guy he hit would be wearing an eye patch for the rest of his life. Yeehaw! Tobias cried.
It's his move.
He gets them eyes. He takes them.
Oh man, do you think he like takes them back to his nest and is like has a collection of Yeerks
No, he
eyes?
probably eats them right then. Just
And she like shits him out.
yes.
He's like little falcon pellets. Like I had to shit your eye out. Okay, think about that image for a second. A bird comes by, takes your eyes, eats it whole, and then shits it out right in front of you.
Fucking badass is what that is. But this victory doesn't last long. Jake's running around as a tiger. The other ones are running around as their battle morphs.
Visser 3 is right like reeling from the scalping.
Yeah, and he's screaming, "Got them!"
So the goons are coming over to pick up Frankie Boy.
Yeah.
And then one of them's knocked out by like, the sick tiger.
Yes. Cassie gets shot.
Yeah.
They start blatting, spraying the Animorphs, and Cassie gets her fucking wing shot off.
Yeah, and she just like eats it.
And just
hard.
drops. Boom, world goes black. End of the Animorphs. Cassie's dead.
So Cassie's dead. Moving on. Cassie's been shot.
Yeah, so after that, chapter 22, she wakes up in a large box.
Right, and so like when I read large box, I thought like, okay, they
Like a shoebox.
yeah, the battle's over.
Right.
So she's now that's not the case.
No.
She's in a large like crate. I'm assuming.
She's in a crate with Ferrand.
Yeah. So Visser 3 is carrying them off.
Yep.
Right. So he's like setting up the defenses, getting ready for the counterattack from the Animorphs, and he pulls both of them into the force field zone.
Yes.
Right. To keep the Animorphs away from Ferrand and Cassie.
And like some of the controllers are just laying on the ground, torn up, just breathing, some not breathing.
Well, yeah, like they're in a route, right? So like some of them are running around, they're trying to get through the force field and they can't.
Yeah, they're taking the equipment and slamming it on the force field.
Right, and so like this is how much of a badass Visser 3 is. Like, hey, listen, I don't care about those goons out there. Lock down this force field. I want to keep this Andalite Bandit and Ferrand here. I need these two alive.
It's like these are the ones we need to win.
Right. And so like, who cares about the goons?
And
so the Animorphs take care of the goons.
Yeah. Visser 3 calls for bug fighters. The Animorphs take down the goons. And Cassie does, for the first time out of anyone, she speaks to Visser 3.
Which I think is great.
Which is fucking badass.
Right. And so, like, this is kind of her, like, turning point in this character arc.
Yes.
Is where she stops becoming she's not afraid anymore, because I think her brain is broken to the sense that she doesn't, like, fear death as much.
Right.
Or rather, she accepts that nature is violence.
Yes.
And now it's time to make some violence.
She's going to do violence in the way that she knows that she can.
Well, she essentially just kind of holds, Ferrand hostage.
Yeah.
So
she says to the Visser via thought speak, "Visser," I said, "I'll kill the human." And Visser 3's like, whoa. Everyone point your guns at that box. Because the Visser 3 knows they need that human alive to get the permits to tear up the Andalite's feeding ground.
Right. And this is kind of like where this comes a little bit thin.
Yes,
I think.
This falls apart.
Because, like, No, just yerk them.
Yeah, just yerk them.
Give them yerk brain. Or like whatever. Okay, so fine, you blasted one of them. We still have this Andalite bandit. That's a victory for us.
Yeah, that's
And then like we can not only that, like if they have control over certain aspects of society, they can dump this body somewhere else.
they can definitely do that.
Right.
So Cassie morphs human real quick and then morphs into the skunk.
Yeah.
And Ferrand sees her do that mid-morph.
Well, Ferrand does the whole like, I must be seeing things,
Yeah. Huh?
Well, no, he's knocked out, isn't he?
No, he sees her a little bit. He sees her because there's a line about it in the last chapter.
Yeah. Well, he's in a daze. I don't think
He's in a daze. He doesn't quite understand.
Yeah.
And so they open the box.
And let off that stink bomb.
She comes out as the skunk, and Visser 3 says, "This is the best you could do, Andalite scum. Such a terrifying beast you've morphed."
He laughed at the chubby, cat-sized black and white animal in the box. Laughed all the way as I stood on my back, raised my tail, looking over my shoulder. A skunk can fire its scent with amazing accuracy up to 14 feet away.
The Visser was only 6 feet away. "Kill it," Visser 3 ordered coldly.
But I fired first.
Ooh, a skunk can fire its scent in 5 to 7 shots.
Brah, brah, brah.
I fired once and hit Visser in the face. I fired again and hit the nearest Hork-Bajir on the left. Again and hit the 2 human controllers again and again, all within 3 seconds. And they just fucking get skunked out.
Oh,
Herund Gahal stink. Ah.
So here's the thing, like this is cheesy as all hell. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, so
Like this is schlock. This is some good schlock.
this is really great schlock. Actually, so don't shoot, you fools, Visser 3 screamed. You'll hit the human, or me. Actually, what they had hit was the floor. A big, smoldering hole appeared in the wood. "Reeking Ferna Gahal," one of the Hork-Bajir kept bellowing in an odd mix of English and their own tongue. Then the Hork-Bajir lost it completely. They turned and ran for the door. Personally, I didn't see what they were so excited about. It didn't smell bad to me.
Same.
Yeah.
Like, I know my own stink.
Right.
I don't smell it.
So that's
This room right now actually probably stinks.
that. So this is the part where it falls apart.
Well, yeah, why? Like, I think it fell apart like during the hostage situation.
It's kind of flimsy. However, it plays on Visser 3's like
I don't like
need for aesthetics.
I don't like Visser 3 being like a dandy fop.
No, but he is. He
Yeah.
is in this. Axe jumps up and he's like, "You're gonna let that Andalite go, and you're gonna take that human to the hospital, or we won't tell you how to get rid of the smell." And one of the human controllers is like, "Master, may I?" And Visser 3 says, "Shut the fuck up! Don't talk right now, I'll kill you." And so everybody shuts up.
Because he knows that they'll do it.
Because they'll do it. And so Visser 3 agrees to let them go, send the human to the hospital, because Axe says, that smell, yeah, if you're out in the open, it'll go away in a week. But when you're in your spaceship, it'll just keep circulating and circulating, and you'll never get rid of it.
Like it's some chronic disease. You'll always smell like
you
this.
You will always stink. You will always smell this. It will always be with you. And that's enough for Visser 3 to let them go.
Axe is good at bluffing.
He's a really good bluffer.
Yeah. Like he knows to get into that alien brain more than the others do.
Yes, he does. And so Visser 3's like, fuck, fine. Send him away.
I don't want to smell stinky.
No, me no stink bad.
Yeah, which I get, like, fine. I don't want to stink forever. That would suck.
No, that would definitely suck. One of the things I'm most subconscious about is if I stink. I don't like thinking that I stink.
So during this quarantine, I've noticed that I smell sometimes. Before I was just kind of like, oblivious to it. I'm sure I had it all my life. But like having to stew in my own stink for months on end. Here in October. I don't know when this is coming out.
Yeah.
But like
add that. Well, that's fine.
I've started to smell my own stink, and now I've become kind of conscious of like, I have a smell. I don't want to smell like that.
Yeah.
It lowers my social status as a human being to smell stinky.
Yes, totally.
So Visser 3 wants to be Visser 1 one day. So yeah, sure. Give me the cure to your alien cat stink.
Yes. And since Visser 3 is so pissed off, he won't let the human controller speak because one of the human controllers says that he knows how to get rid of the stink, and Visitor 3's like, shut the fuck up! Yeah. I'll kill you! And so they all leave. The Yeerks send the guy to the hospital. In the hospital, the guy wakes up, and he's like, oh, there was a skunk woman! I saw a skunk woman!
It's like, yes, we all know you saw a skunk woman.
Yeah, you saw a skunk woman, Mr. Friend. It's okay. So it ends like this. Tobias flies to the group, and he says, I've just been checking on our friends at the logging camp. They now have 2 entire trucks of juice. They made trip after trip for juice. They dug out a big pit in the ground and made a kind of swimming pool filled with the stuff. Visitor 3's been in it most of the night and all this morning. Judging by the way everyone is staying back, I'm guessing he still stinks. Plus, Tobias added with a slightly evil laugh, the Visser is now a very lovely, attractive shade of purple. Gee, that's too bad, Rachel said. I feel so sorry for him. He may begin to suspect the truth, Axe said. Think maybe you should have told him the truth? That it's tomato juice, not grape juice, that washes away a skunk smell? I asked. We all looked at each other and broke up laughing at the same moment. Nah, I don't think so, I said.
Wah, wah, wah. Like,
that's the end of the book.
So, to recap, Visitor 3 traded his hostage and
2 hostages.
2 hostages for the cure to stink.
Yes.
And they said, it's grape juice. All right. Okay. It's not like he couldn't have gone and asked anyone at any point.
Right. Flimsy, but funny.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay, I'm looking forward to the chapter that actually ends the book. No, that's the last chapter.
That's it. That's the end.
What the hell? Like,
I mean,
come on. Like, there's still like things unsettled with Cassie.
Well, I mean, kind of. She kind of comes to that.
She comes to the realization,
the uneasy piece that she has to survive. She's going to do what she has to survive. That's the biggest emotional climax we're going to get out of this book.
You have to admit that there's that kind of like hole in the end of this book where like, okay, Cassie needs to come to terms to like really look back on what happened and what she learned.
Yeah, and
right, and she just doesn't.
She doesn't.
Right, like I was picturing like there'd be that conversation with Cassie and her dad,
or like
I love her dad.
Yeah, or she goes back and like sees the skunks with her mom or whatever.
Or it's like, oh,
that's how that book should have ended.
Or honestly, you know, like here's how it really should have ended if we're doing like fanfic, you know.
What else is this if not fanfic?
Right. It should end with like the mother skunk dying. It's like, oh yeah, no, sorry, Cassie.
We couldn't save it.
We couldn't save it. Like, you know, the wound became septic and the skunk died. I'm sorry. And so then, like, Cassie has to come to terms with death and say, like, you know what, Tobias? You can eat those. No, but, like, you know, like, has some sort of conclusion, like, you know, nature is sometimes about death.
Yeah.
And, you know, even though I may have indirectly caused it by getting Mama Skunk blasted by a Dracon beam,
this could have happened any other way because Tobias was already going to eat them.
Right. Or just, like, you know, it wasn't me that necessarily did it, but it was other interactions with the Yeerks. Like, this is not my fault necessarily. This is the Yeerks' fault. Or to accept some responsibility is because I was doing it for the greater good, and I have to accept that there are casualties in this war.
Maybe we're the virus and that nature's healing.
Nature's healing.
Did you like this one? Number 9, The Secret?
I liked it. Here, if I could cut off sections of it, it would be a far better book, I think.
And maybe add an ending?
Well, and I don't think it needed to have the Ferrand bit. Really,
no,
like I
not
think
really.
It needed to have the like we need to do a heist, you know, just kind of like to be the anchor of them still in this war.
Right.
But it really should have been about like Cassie coming to terms with nature and death.
Yep.
And we got that, but we got that too soon. Like we got that right after the termite thing, and then we had like this other third of a book that we had to deal with.
And they never circled back to it.
Yeah, but because they were kind of done with it, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
So I liked it. It was that should have been the end. It should have been. The end should have been them escaping and kind of coming to terms with it.
It's a nice way for kids to learn that maybe nature hates you and that nature will kill you.
Well, not necessarily nature hates you. It's
right.
Nature is nature, and nature wants you dead.
Yeah, nature will kill you.
I will eat my neighbors.
Nature wants your nutrients, like, because ultimately I think nature's... What is it? Nature abhors a vacuum.
Yeah.
Like, nature wants to return to equilibrium, and you being a human are not a part of nature. We, by definition, are not a part of nature. Nature is not meant to be in apartment buildings and, talking into microphones on a podcast. In reality, we're supposed to be like skirting around, covering, eating shit. Like that's what nature is. Nature is organic, and humans are outside of that. So we need to be conscious of that and be responsible. That doesn't necessarily mean don't eat meat. I'm not advocating like, hey, y'all, like, let's be vegetarians. But maybe like when we interact and impact nature, we need to be more conscious of how we're doing it. Maybe we shouldn't eat as much meat.
Right.
Or maybe the meat we do eat needs to be, more ethically sourced. That sort of a thing.
And I think that maybe sometimes if you're eating some ass and you taste a little poop, that maybe that poop should tell you to defend women.
Maybe when you eat the poop, maybe it's really respect the queen.
Yeah, that's Animorphs number 9. I mean, I enjoyed it.
What did you like about this book?
I liked that their most empathetic character so far has had to deal with the heaviest messages, like the heaviest issues. The way that the author writes about Cassie and how Cassie grapples with the life or death big world consequences. Like in her first book, she was dealing with, if the Yeerks take over, that's the death of every animal, and that is a tragedy. In this book, she's realizing to save myself and to save the ones I love, I have to participate in this blood-red ritual of death.
Cassie considers everything.
Yes.
In a way that both Jake and Marco definitely don't.
Oh, definitely do not.
Right.
Only Tobias does, I would say. Tobias and Axe, maybe.
Rachel has some considerations, but
Yeah.
I think that she... Like, Rachel and Cassie are kind of, like, cast in these books as, like, opposites. They are opposite people. But, like, I don't necessarily see that. I think it's more of just, like, they consider the same things but come to different conclusions sometimes. Whereas, like, Rachel, I think, justifies violence. Cassie...
abhors it. She doesn't want...
No, she doesn't. I think at the end of this book, she still doesn't accept it.
No, and she has a perfectly deadly battle morph, but chooses the skunk.
Yeah, because, like... It's the one that gets her out of the situation.
Fuck, she could have turned into a fucking termite.
Well, I mean, yeah, but no, they were looking for like any small bug that was found in that box. I think, but yeah, no, you're right. Like her escape from the situation was a non-violent one.
Yeah, it was the one that's like,
and not necessarily
we have defenses, and our defenses won't necessarily kill you, but they'll hurt you.
Even if she could have escaped as a wolf, like, and killed some people on the way out, I don't think she would have. I think she would have gone with the skunk no matter what, because she just doesn't want to impact nature.
No.
She doesn't want to cause violence if she can avoid it.
No, she doesn't want to be the reason another living creature, be them good or bad, dies.
Right. It should always be a last resort.
Right. Which Cassie's the Batman. She won't kill.
She is a scientist.
cleans up a lot of animal shit. I imagine there's a lot of that in the Batcave.
Yeah, make some guano.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Animorphs number 9, The Secret. What was... Okay, so here's how I really wanted to end this. What was The Secret?
She was taking care of skunks? I don't know.
I think that's what it was. I think that...
The secret of life is that sometimes you'll cause death?
No, well, okay, that's the better secret. But, like, I think, like, the secret in the context of this book is, like, she was sneaking off to take care of the skunks, and Jake got, like, super controlling over it.
Maybe the secret is, I'm secretly crazy. And that's that, would you say?
Yeah.
This is Animorphin Time, number 9. That's Nate. I'm Tyler.
You can find me at the Twitters.
Yeah, I'm on Twitters too. We've given you those. Just follow the podcast.
Hey, you know what? Animorphingtime.com.
Yeah, animorphingtime.com, at animorphingtime on Twitter.
Yeah.
I listed our names on the Twitter. If you really want to find us, fucking find. If you don't, I don't give a fuck. Nobody's listening to this. Doesn't fucking matter anyway.
Contact my work. Get me fired.
No, don't do that.
Contact Tyler. Tell him that you told him some medical secrets.
I didn't tell any medical secrets.
Tell the people about the secret cure to coronavirus.
Hydrochloroquine with UV light.
Yeah, to stick that up your butthole and you'll be safe. All right, good night, everyone.
Good night.
Woman, you want me, give me a sign, and catch my breathing even closer behind. Do 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 do.
Ahoy.
in touch with the ground. I'm on the hunt, I'm after you. Smell like a sound, I'm lost in a crowd, and I'm hungry.